Hey, welcome back to Metropole Grid. My name is Andre. How's it doing? How's it going? It is the 14th of November. Nailed it. Hopefully you're doing well. It's a Tuesday stream. We got a good one today. We're gonna be playing some untested waters stuff. We have a lot of news to catch up on. We've been out for a long time, just like kind of cruising through the news section. We kind of require some sort of structure in our lives, and like being fully aware of what's going on in the world of Netrunner seems super important. So yeah, we'll get to that. There's actually a fair bit of news we should be talking about. Hopefully you're all doing well. We had a video up yesterday. I think it's pretty cool to be back to some deck dives. It's nice to also be out there recording some gameplay. Your beard is growing back. I can't stop it. I can't stop it. Every once in a while, I kind of shave it down. Carrie, how you doing? European friendly stream. Yeah, it'll be a process that'll just dog me for the rest of my life. Hopefully you're doing well. Hey Stab, wait, let's go. I'm at just stream time. How you doing? Mondi, third. Close enough. How you doing, Mondi? You doing well? Good morning, friends. Dang, that track slaps. That's track that you're probably talking about. It's kind of probably called Out of Flux by Sunny Dance, which I think was the second track that went on Alec, and it is really, really good. Hey, Carl, how's it going? Welcome to stream. Just to let you know, I think your nickname, in quotes, is a bit of a slur. You might want to get that checked out. That's probably not. I wouldn't open in a room like that, unfortunately. Izzy, how you doing? Happy Tuesday. It's been a while, I feel like. You doing well? I don't think we've caught up in a moment. Hopefully you're doing okay. Hello, stream. Hey, Andre. Yo, Pouch. Excuse me. I just DM'd you an offer you can refuse. I saw it before the stream went up. Sorry, Alec. It's Sunny Dance, Out of Flux. It's all one word, so it should be like this. Sunny Dance, sorry, is that all one word? Yeah, Sunny Dance, Out of Flux. Eyal Moody seems to be what's not on my thing, but it seems to be here. That's, I think, the track that we're talking about. Yeah, I read the offer. Sorry, I haven't responded yet because we're going live right away. I definitely can't make it. I know I've also seen Kyle recruiting in the Montreal Discord to find another person. Unfortunately, I can't make it down, let alone I will be involved in the tournament, but that's because we are going to be casting from a distance. I wish I had more concrete things to tell you about. If you want to tune in this weekend, it's Sovereign of Subways, which is the huge tournament run by the folks in Brooklyn. That is a team tournament that looks like currently there's a lot of players. I think it's, well, we have it up here, but currently registered on ABR, which is this one. There is, okay, these are players going. I think I heard the number about like 20 teams or something. I don't know. The number was really, really, really good. I was reposting Patches recruiting. Yeah, thank you, Kyle. I'm really hope that y'all find somebody, but unfortunately I can't make it at the last minute. I'd be really excited to. I think I'll try and make it next year for sure. But sorry, this will be streamed. I'm covering most of it. I don't know where it's going to be streamed. I don't know if it's going to be streamed here on the Metropole Grid. I don't know if it's going to be streamed on another channel. We'll definitely tell you by Thursday. And of course, if you hit the notify button on Twitch or YouTube, you'll let us, you'll get a notification when we go live regardless. So yeah, check that out. That should be, again, soon. Very exciting tournament. Actually, how's it going? It seems really great. Was it worth a try? Excited about the casting? No, it's totally worth a try. I think it's really funny too. Yo, Leonard, Fib Leonard, how's it going? Good morning, good evening. I'm doing a good afternoon. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Another struggle of the hair, but Andre, you're looking good with that 5 o'clock shadow. Thanks, Mondi. That's very kind. That is the one? Okay, sick. Yeah, that one is like better than most of the other ones. It is really good. Hey, Nemirov, how's it going? Cold Lava has been chatting with me about the stream. Looking forward to seeing some of it. Eric, are you playing? Also, I checked in. So Monday nights are like not the easiest for me off and on to watch. There was a Neon Static stream the other day. And they're doing live tabletop stuff. This one had Derek in it. Nice to meet Derek on the internet. And playing live and playing... You know, it happened. What happened was going to happen, which was the DreamNet deck. I've only watched, I think, like the first 2.5 hours. It's like a 3.5 hour stream. But I watched it a bit last night after getting back in. And yeah, I think you came to the conclusions that you want to know how much money you would have got if you played as Mari. And that's just kind of the GameNet problem. It's like, if you don't make your ability interesting, you're just hoping ice fires, and like ice doesn't fire. Yeah. I do want to preface this with something that I've noticed, and please call me out on this if I'm not too critical or like I'm missing this or I'm getting into a spiral or something like this. But I'm pretty sure over the last like couple weeks, I think last stream maybe was pretty rough, is that like I was working with decks. I was playing decks that I thought were not like my thing, and I was struggling to get them to do the thing, and then I was getting a bit negative. And I feel like it's probably really bad if you post your deck list online and then like I don't know, maybe I play it in front of an audience and be like, this is trash. Like, that's not good. I feel like I really need to maybe change my tone a bit and explain why I don't like things in a way that's maybe a bit more productive than that, and explain like, I don't know, keep a bit of a level head. I think I might have like spiraled a bit in a way that I'm not too proud of. So if you ever see that, just let me know, make fun of me. It's totally fine. We'll pull it back, because I really feel bad if like someone posts their deck list and are really excited about it, and then like say, you know, obviously this happens with posting things online in general, but if I pull it up and be like, this is bad, it's not a good feel. And it's probably not a bad deck. The specific one, the ones we were playing last week, like none of them are obviously bad decks. I just like, I would do it slightly different, but hey, that's me. So apologies, keep me honest. Hey, Ping Pongkle, how's it going? Whiteblade, I'm going to the event. You should come, Andre. Yeah, yo, there's a lot of people coming in from like quite the distance. You're playing with Jeff, right? Are you playing with Jeff? I think he said, maybe not. I know he said you were coming, and I saw you on the roster. That's pretty sick. Unfortunately, I can't make it like that soon, because not only casting, but it's my sister's birthday, and like it's a whole weekend, unfortunately. Hey Eddie, how's it going? How you doing? Welcome. Team tournaments are cool as yes. Is this the janky deck tournament? It's potentially. So team tournaments, the idea is that you play with a team of 3. I love team tournaments. And we had a team tournament, mind you, at Worlds. It was the one the BCom put out, the Crown of Servers tournament, except that one was a new structure about 3 different formats. For what it's worth, I'm really glad I did that BCom tournament, but I'm actually much more excited for this kind of format, because I think this sort of format, what happens is that you're on a team of 3, and each player on your team has to play a different faction. And so there's 2 really cool things about this tournament. Firstly, it is the most meta-diverse tournament by design. It has to be. So going into any round, you know you're going to be playing into equally likely chance of every single faction. And so then using that to your deck building and being like, I want to build a deck that's like good against everything, is really kind of fun. And it's an interesting problem. You also know you're not going to go to an event and play like 5 Reality Plus unless things go really, really poorly. Another really cool thing with this sort of tournament is that you have table talk, right? So at least until the last generally 5 or 10 minutes, you're allowed to like talk to your teammates who are sitting next to you, be like, hey, how would you play this? Or like, do you keep this hand? Or what do you think my opponent is doing? Should I run this? Should I do this? And I feel like that's just such a cool tournament thing. And it's like such a fun tournament thing, even for like high skill players. But even if you are like a newer Netrunner player and you want to pair up with a high skill player to be like, hey, I got training wheels for a tournament and I can ask questions and I can feel comfortable. And that's like super, super, super cool. I feel like these sort of things are like huge strengths that weren't too obvious with the Crown of Servers with the different formats, because it's hard to table talk when like most of the team doesn't know what startup or eternal is. And then of course, we don't exactly have meta diversity as much as I did feel meta diversity playing eternal. So I don't know. I'm glad COS was what it was this year for sure. I think it was interesting, but this is like the original Subway or team tournament, and it's like just kind of the coolest if you've never done it before. I'm behind on chat. Is it the janky deck tournament was the question, and it can be. Some players go to this with like really silly decks. Like there's so many teams that go into it with like kind of self-restricted goals, self-imposed goals. So they say like every single deck needs to play like, what is it, mitosis in it, right? Like that's a common thing to come to these events, where it's like, we're going to build 3 different corp decks all playing mitosis, right? And like people do that pretty consistently. There's going to be a whole bunch of players who are like, you know, trying to play the best decks and win the event because the prize support is sick. And then there's a bunch of people that have like a nice way to hang out with 3 people who are, you know, traveling into New York together. So it's a mixture. There's definitely like, you're always going to be paired against other teams that are doing as well as you, so you can do whatever you want and have fun. But classically, yeah, people are like, at least at Worlds, before Worlds, at like Crown and Servers, like people are, you know, drinking beer and like yelling and putting on costumes. Like it is goofy fun. It is really, really cool how fun team tournaments are. There's multiple Erics in the stream, please specify. All right, it's Neon Static and it's Whiteblade. There'll be no more Erics in the stream. Spoke with Kat. I'm casting too. Yo, Monty's sick. And they said it would be on to this channel. Thank you, Monty. Okay, it probably will be here. Take a look at the very bottom of Cobra Bubbles' lat list for a nice surprise. Take a look at the bottom of Cobra Bubbles' lat list for a nice surprise. Okay, we're on a quest now. Oh, hold on. I don't know what I'm looking for. You set me up. Useful learnings, the plan, optimizing lat, building the rig. This is a good write-up. I'm covering a bunch of it. Matchups. Damn, what is this write-up? Cobra, what are you doing? One of them? Oh, that's sick. That's really sick. I see. I found it. That's Cobra. That's amazing. Oh, that's really, really, really cute. Oh, that's very cute. Putting out my name as Andre Maverick is actually correct. That's what the A is. That's really good. Oh, that's such a cool Reddit too. I'll check that out. But yeah, we Cobra, mind you, if you want to hear from Cobra, was also on Bahramu's stream like a couple of weeks ago to talk about Eternal because yeah, Cobra absolutely destroyed me in Eternal in a way that was like super demoralizing. Super nice person though. Positive mindset grinding, yeah. It's you Synchrony and Analyze, Chris. Yo, Whiteblade, that is a team. Damn. Damn, that's a team. Do you know what you're playing? I guess you do. 45 credits from GameNet credits didn't feel great. Yeah. And that's the problem is when your identity is just about credits, like obviously it changes how the runner plays, but like you can get more credits. Hey, Recursion, how's it going? Have a good stream. Thank you. I'm behind on chat. Let me catch up. I'm not going to SOS, unfortunately, so I'll just be watching. Oh, I thought you were going. That's a bummer. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be this weekend, at least from a distance. I'm doing good, making some breakfast tacos at 12:30 p.m., which is a reasonable breakfast time. I had my breakfast at like 11:45 busy. I know how it is. It's totally fine. Enjoy the tacos. What's the plan for today? So we definitely have some news to catch up on. I don't think we're going to be diving into the deck list of the week, but I'm so happy that Jot got the deck list of the week. Had the pleasure of meeting Jot, and like this deck list is absolutely like I don't want to say unhinged, but it's so wild because Jot was a player, the only player who went into Worlds this year from Russia. And it's really, really hard to come in from Russia. It's incredibly difficult to travel out of Russia specifically as a Russian. And so it's the, you know, what is it? 102 steps of getting out to Worlds. And it's like such an absolute journey. I had the pleasure of meeting Jot because Jot was on our COS team. He was playing standard on our team. And I think he was playing this deck as well in COS. He might have changed it before a bit before Worlds. He also did really well. I think he just was a 2-for-1 or so short from like being a top 16 near bubble competitor, which is like sick. Shot plays well. Yeah, it's a great write-up. We're not gonna be playing this one today. We'll probably be playing it on Thursday. We definitely will be playing on Thursday. But today we want to play some Mercury because we haven't played Mercury in a while, and we're at the point where like criminals are kind of doing a thing, and I've sleeved up a Mercury deck. In fact, we got some nice Izzy tech in this. En passant, let's go. So that's largely where we're gonna be starting. I just need to catch up on chat. I've been thinking with all the FFG product rotating down, if a person was going to make a battle box out of original FFG cards, what type of builds would you suggest to build? Oh, it's a question that would require a bit more thought from me, Nemirov, but luckily there's a bunch of other people that have put that thought in. There are things like Crow, if I'm not mistaken, and then like, I think one of them is named after a German city, which like people have gone out of the way to make like sort of battle boxes. To be like, these are two decks that are of small size that are easy to learn that you can play against each other. I don't know exactly what is the name of the other one. Somebody in chat will have said it by the time I've caught up, but I think I would start there. Otherwise, like you can do like kind of historical fun matchups if you want to play on the competitive side, like CTM versus Wizard or CTM versus Valencia is not everyone's cup of tea, but it's like a really fun, tense matchup. There's a couple like that. If anyone's looking for a team of SOS, if you or is convinced by Andre to join Sebastian K and have an open slot for a team, hit me up. That also sounds like a killer team. I'm bringing disgusting meta shit to SOS. I want to win. Yo, good luck out there, man. I'll be excited to see you on stream. I don't think I've seen you play in such a long time, Eric. But again, it's because you're washed. That makes sense. Latless daily quest, gain 2 credits. I gotta figure out how to play Shaper. Thankfully, Cable Carnage understands that I'm a grug brained. Oh, the grug write-up is wild. The Cable Carnage popped off. It was what's it called? UK Nats this weekend. And Cable Carnage came in 6th. There was like 90 people out there. So like, that's huge. I think it was 6th. I'm not sure. We'll check the standings because we're going to be talking about this a bit. I've seen none of the footage, mind you, of UK Nationals. So again, UK Nationals was this weekend in, I want to say Sheffield. It was in Sheffield, which is in the UK. And there was 90 players. And it's always like such a killer event. Like a lot of folks look at UK Nationals and call it Worlds too. And it's like also so interesting that this is about like, you know, just about a month after Worlds, and the top cut in the meta is like surprisingly different, not entirely different, but like still surprisingly different. And Cable Carnage coming in 6th again. Congrats to Rotom as well. Obviously, a pretty safe bet to bet on Rotom. But the top cut here, congratulations to everyone. There's some pretty wild decks. There's some really, really cool stuff out there. But yeah, it's fascinating. It's like, I don't know if you see directly any deck that was exactly like at World's top 16 that is just like plugged into here. Maybe the Sable is, like that might be the closest, but a lot of these decks are like surprisingly different. And I think a lot of people are totally enamored by the fact that like, just see Code Gate, run Code Gate, go, kid, go, like works. Like, it works. It works. This is kind of like we saw this kid deck like earlier this season, and that one had a bit more multi-axis, but it's just like we run basic breakers, we just have event economy, like literally no frills, no SMC, just find your Ngolo, and it's really funny. Zhao finished day 1 in 11th, so it's in good standing. Yo, ba, yeah, Zhao was doing like really, really well. Again, the end is always like so volatile because, you know, you lose one matchup, you basically lose a 2-for-1, you're out of contention. So it is what it is. Just max simul chips and anarch influence, pretend it's mulch. GameNet was made with 3 gold farmer in mind. It just doesn't exist with an ID without it. Yo, Celestial, how's it going? I think you put a comment, right, on the video about the ganked stuff. I responded to it because I think you might misunderstand how the combo works. It actually is robust. Frankfurt 30. Thank you, Bob. That's the one I was looking at. Frankfurt 30 is the old FFG stuff. Anything but Frankfurt 30, says Kyle. Oh. Ampazan with no tread lightly, nor leave no trace. I think so. We'll get back to it. I think tread lightly is actually worth considering. I don't like leave no trace so much because you're generally doing the derez stuff on central servers. And I don't think you want to leave no trace on central servers. You'd rather just inside job. I'm really just going to get bagels. Oh, in New York. Yeah, whatever. New York bagels are fine. Imagine going to New York City to get bagels when you've already gone to Montreal. Yeah, there you go, Kyle. Do you think Mercury's ability is worth it? No. I think it's very interesting, but it rarely feels impactful enough when I tried it. I do not think, right? And this is the sort of camp, you know, we were just talking about. The thing that like really gets me, that like, to me, I struggle to be really excited about is when you have 2 things in Netrunner that do the very similar thing, but one of them just does it worse, right? So like if you're asking me if I want to play criminal aggression, should I play Mercury right now or should I play Sable? And I think if we're looking for like competitive results and like not having to worry about things too much, I would play Sable 10 out of 10 times. That being said, we're still going to try Mercury because there's a lot we can learn about it. We're going to be playing some cards and we actually probably will cut Capybara for something else. We'll talk about this in a second. But currently I'm not convinced that Mercury does enough to make them different enough from all the other criminals that are kind of all the same. Like even I think Zaya is in a really good spot where you just put down as much multi-access and then get paid for it, as opposed to like having to play a bunch of strange cards to make Mercury's effect relevant and then it not being as good as like Sable or even 419. So no, I don't think it is, but that doesn't mean we're not going to do it. But from a distance, just to understand our hypothesis here, and we're going to try and not be self-defeating, is that I don't think Mercury has enough card pool to make their ability more interesting than just playing good criminal aggression in general. Where's the footage from UK Nats? Thank you, Connor. Yeah, it is. I'll put the link below. I'll put it in chat right now. It's just twitch.tv/NeoRedandGrid. They have a YouTube channel. I don't think it's been updated for a while. This is not on there. I hope at some point it's on there. But it is NeoRedandGrid. Sorry, I'm behind on chat. I've been jamming a kit deck for the past month to try and make it work. Gregory, how's it going? I got wrecked on stream at Nats. Oh, no way. I haven't checked out any of it, and it's like a 2-day event. There's like a lot of Netrunner to watch. I know on day 1 there wasn't commentary. Was there commentary in day 2? Jemison in top 16 made my day. Oh, sick. That's really cool. I don't know if we have a deck list to look at. Is there a Jemison? Oh yeah, XTC IA. Cool. Jemison's fun. It is fun. We're on Urtica. Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of people don't like, it's hard to play around this and a lot of folks don't know about this. This makes sense. We're just playing a trap deck with some tricks to it. That's really cool. I want Merc to be good. Sup, Andre? Yo, Sean, how's it going? I was confused because you were talking about excitedly one of the games where it was already installed. Yeah, because we would do the second one from hand. You're right. The one on the table, the ordering is like questionable because it's random. And in theory, we actually saw in the matchup, there was a couple players that like accessed the cards in the wrong order. Like there's technically is a preferential order to access cards during a ganked Tucana, as much as it is like kind of nonsense to say that because nobody expects it coming. But yeah, if we have one in HQ, we can put it on the table. Only 2 Crim in the cut and 4 Shapers is a little... Everyone hit the like button for Andre. Thank you, Eric. Have you tried backstitching? It's super fun with Capybara. Yo, Joe, yeah, I haven't tried anything. Like, that's a big problem, is that there's so many pieces in Mercury that are really difficult. Because for Mercury, if you're not familiar, right, like you need your ability to be relevant, which means you need to be not breaking subroutines on ice. I don't think Banner is worth the influence. I think Kurapir is good enough. And that kind of leads us to all the tricks we have in terms of breakers, unless we want to play stealth and we want to bypass once per turn a sentry, which you can do by playing whatever that cat that bypasses things are. So I don't know about that. So then we have to play other stuff, right? Like, of course, we have Inside Job. I don't think Estebrado is worth playing, but you could always consider it. And then if you want to rely on Capybara, like, yeah, having a backstitching is probably the most easy way to use it to your effect. I'm also playing 2 Emergency Shutdown, which I think is just like a reasonable card in the format. It's not too bad whatsoever. You get some targeting. That's really good. And of course, En Passant, so that if we ever do like, you know, Inside Job Centrals or derez with, I guess, backstitching, we can destroy things, but sort of, kind of, not really. The thing that to me, like, I'm not fully sure is like, is Capybara better than Bachlan Botchkin? And I think there's a chance it isn't. Like Bachman Botchkin comes down and then just gets power counters whenever you're encountering ice. It's going to happen a fair bit, I reckon. And then during encounter, you can trash this to derez an ice you're encountering, which means because you're doing an encounter, the core can't res it again because they can only res ice on approach. And of course, you take a tag, but that means that you can also guarantee a derez, which means you're guaranteeing not to break subroutines. So is this even better than Capybara? There's a chance it is, as much as the tag is like inherently ugly. This is an easier card to put down to get like additional value while you're going. Like, I don't want to compare it to Kobe, but like you could abstractly compare it to Kobe. Why do you have to struggle to break the Brawn when you just derez the Brawn when you got this thing down early and it's fully charged? So obviously Jacoby's a bit of cursed, it's not the best comparison, but that's what I mean. Like, this seems so much easier to play than like Capybara and then having to worry about derez, which is something you don't have full control over. And even with backstitching, it's kind of random, right? I don't like En Passant because it doesn't pressure core beacon enough. Yo, NetDad, how's it going? It doesn't, but ideally it sometimes does, because then they might have to like put another piece of ice on central servers, and then hopefully that slows them down. Like, I'm on 3 Hermes, which seems ridiculous, but the idea here is like, we want to make this the way that we control the game. Is that if they can't ice up central servers, we're seeing 2 to 3 cards every turn, and then they need to double ice central servers, and then hopefully it slows them down. You're right. It might not be the most important thing. I'm trying it out because it seems kind of fun, and it seems like a deck where you can play it, but we'll see. Again, we haven't really tried this. I saw Izzy playing this, and it blew us out in a couple games, and I thought it was really, really cool. Twinning Xayah is definitely a lot stronger in practice than it sounds on paper. Yes, Twinning Xayah kind of slaps. I've had a lot of fun with Twinning Xayah. In fact, Whiteblade posted a list. I brought it to a casual event recently, and like Sengrin's been playing it a heck of a lot on stream as well. It's just really fun. I want to see the deck list of the Mad Lad who took Freedom and Mirror Morph to number 3 Swiss. Also, sup, Andre? Rahit, how's it going? Oh, I didn't realize someone did that. I know there was a Mirror Morph deck posted recently that was about MCA austerity, which is good. Sneak Door and Iru? I would see Iru maybe. I think Sneak Door is also like super reasonable. I think with Amakua, right? Like, I feel like we probably should just be playing Amakua, especially with Echelon. We have some good incentives too. But I assume Archives is going to get iced up at some point, or like maybe Sneak Door is not worth it. But Sneak Door is very, very, very good. Especially because it's run HQ C2 cards off the bat, especially when it's not iced. I think that's probably worth it considering we have 3 Hermes, and that's an early blowout. I agree it. Is there anything you missed from the Flashpoint cycle in Standard? Huh. Probably. But also there's a lot that I don't. For the Flashpoint cycle. Let's do this really quick. Yeah, that's Whiteblade, by the way. Whiteblade's been playing some Xayah lists. He says it has like medicinal properties in a very strong way. Let's see by image only. The Mirror of deck is posted. I think I saw it. Okay, what do I miss from Flashpoint? That's a bad start. Look at all these cards I'm missing from Flashpoint. Oh, look at all these cards I'm missing. Ooh, I was so sad Flashpoint was gone. Ooh, no, Flashpoint, no. Mouseless, but like not really. Ooh, Flashpoint. I will miss you so much. This is just an absolute box of toxic nonsense. This box is so messed up. What is going on? Data Ward? I don't like Big Ice. I just don't like Big Ice. I don't think it's that interesting. I don't know. Is the answer no? Deuces is a fun card. Like, okay. Oh, yeah. Find the truth. Citadel. Final answer, Citadel. Just because, like, obviously Nexus is gone, but like Citadel is like core to a lot of the tag engines that are kind of the big thing right now. This Building Blocks outfit, Voidath, how's it going? You can still play it though. Building Blocks is in Reign and Reverie, right? I guess you don't have Bulwark. That's the point, huh? No, Eric, I don't. I like Bachlan because it messes with boarding control math. Yeah, it's like kind of, I don't know if you're excited to de-res the boarding control. Sometimes you are. Sometimes it is very important. I took Mercury to 5th the COS and Worlds, but I would have been better in Sable. I really should write it up and publish it. Yeah, I think Izzy, people would be really stoked to see you write up. I misheard that his Twinning Xayah sucks and whipped out my phone to rebut. Yo, that's what we had to do, yo. We just got to rage bait on some Xayah hate. FC3? I miss Mouseless. I do miss Mouseless because it's like so easily playable, but also like the numbers on it just are nonsense. Deuces rotating made Oppo much better. Yes. It also like Citadel. Also Blum. How's it going? Good game last week. Mouseless, good. I really miss Smoke. I was not a big stealth player. I wish stealth was a bit more interesting than the payoffs being almost strictly just like better breakers. Like, I think we almost got there with Moose Safecracker, but I want stealth to be used in other interesting ways that just weren't there. Game lost in our time. Mercury opinions are probably hard to fit in stream chat. They're a bit more nuanced, yeah. Added time to an inconsistent Wayland outfit. No more Chiashi, Tithonium, Bulwark hits. Yeah, that's true. It was a good game. I enjoyed your two-kind of vid. Ah, cheers. That's very kind. Yeah, that matchup was really fun. I think it was very clear that like we were doing a dance, and it's a hard dance to like to kind of get around. Playing it to bypass derez is a bad idea. I agree. And so like this is the one thing to me that I always want to keep, you know, myself open to, is that every once in a while you see a deck that is just an absolute pile of cards, right? Like Hive Mind Max, arguably Mulch looks to me like a pile of cards, and then the deck is functional. And that's because at some point you hit a synergistic sort of like singularity point where you have enough cards together that while each individual piece seems underwhelming and poor on tempo and, you know, whatever else you can argue about it, right? Is that together they actually work really well. And then you have to start to play the game in like a kind of intuitive way. So the idea is like at some point, maybe you can put enough derez into the deck that like it actually is a strong pattern that you can just like, you know, smash R&D forever, as much as that sounds like a terrible game plan. And I'd be really surprised if that's the case in Mercury. Like obviously those other two decks have weird synergistic packages that are better than they look. The sum of the parts come together. But I don't think we're exactly there with Mercury. But there's a chance that we're 1 or 2 cards away from having some sort of cogent derez package that is worth pursuing on its own. The big issue about the derez package is like, there are some decks you play into in the modern meta that are running like literally 3 ice and one of them is a ping, the other one's a BSA. Like you don't want to derez those. But then if you run into like Neon Static playing 3 Toll Booth game net, like let's effing go. So, you know, it's a mixed bag for sure. And I even think in those matchups where like they don't ice up everything really well, which maybe that's good for you because you don't need your derez, is that I still probably want to do the free clicks from Sable more than I'd want to see an additional card from Merc. Because even like multi-accessing early against acid spam decks, it's like, well, enjoy stealing your Bologna and being on threat 3 on turn 2. Like that's also not like the best thing you want to do when it comes to competitive Netrunner. So who knows? Yo, David, how's it going? Good morning from Hawaii. How you doing? I think stealth could have been interesting if there's also noisy cards like old Netrunner. Yeah, there was like a little noisy reference in the last article, or last like literature that Shu put out. I'm not sure if that means that there's something like that. Yeah, you hit the famous deck with only 3 eyes in it? Yeah, recursion, totally. The amount of thinking that match was fun, as in you both stopped to think many times. Yeah, we did. And like, I feel like the thinking on our side was also mostly because we had limited options. I also do think, Blum, there was a chance that if you did do the Mavirus into half run play, I was actually 3 clone ships out. You might have closed the game there, but it's hard to say because I don't know your hand. I think you just described a Bahram Wu deck in a sentence. But like a lot of times the Bahram Mu decks are like pursuing things that are genuinely more interesting, right? Like I think a really good example of that is, what's the name of the lady that does 5 meat damage? Chiefsley, right? Like Chiefsley is not a consistent card. I'd argue Chiefsley is something that you can't really count on too much, but like, well, if Chiefsley fires, she actually delivers something that no other card does. And I really appreciate decks that go out of their way to do that. Like another one that at some point we're going to tackle again is Persephone, right? Like Persephone is not good. This is not going to be as consistent, but there are going to be some turns where you get a Persephone deck to pop off and it mills like 14 off of the corporation. Like this is the sort of like, you know, what people call jank that I'm a bit more interested in. It's not consistent. It's not obviously the most powerful thing. And maybe it could be, we just don't know, but it's probably not the most powerful thing in any format, but it's not just like a different way to gain, you know, like a 2 credit economy gain every turn. And this is what I appreciate more as opposed to comparing like Asmari to GameNet, as much as maybe you can make a cool GameNet. I feel like I'm not dunking on you, Eric Hayden. But that's what I mean. It's like there's certain things that excite me in Netrunner, and that's when they can do different things, not just do the same thing slightly different. And that's why when like I get fired up about comparing Hoshiko to Lu and then become a bit of a shithead. So apologies about that. Yeah, exactly. I like that. If I do it, I have to take a bunch more time to find the border control that I got instead, and I feel like I was racing against your labor rights. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if you didn't have the hand to like close the game out really quickly, that makes a lot of sense. Chief Sleep plus Angelique would have been an interesting combo. Yeah, you have to get to threat 3, but you can. I feel seen. I feel Sean. I feel seen. All right, let's do this. All right, so we'll start here. We're playing Mercury. Their ability is quite fun whenever you breach a central server during a run. If you did not break any subroutines, this is why did they hide the once per turn ability? You always make me so excited, and then you get to the bottom. But basically, if you didn't break any subroutines, you get to see 2 cards on an R&D or an HQ run. So firstly, how do you not break subroutines? Either the corporation didn't ice it up, they can't res the ice got derezed, or you just let them subroutines fire. So that's interesting. It gives you a bunch of options, and that sort of early pressure can capitalize on pretty heavily when you have things like Hermes, because Hermes can just blow a board state. It can open up more central servers. It can put the remote server back into the hand, as much as, of course, we've already used our Mercury ability maybe once per turn. So that's pretty cool. Other things we have in the deck, it's not too surprising. We're going to be playing a bit of economic denial just to keep the corporation a bit slow. I've been playing HB decks, and like criminal against HB right now feels so good for the criminal because they want to make the game all about the remote server generally pretty quickly, and they can't really afford to make the game about central servers. So just smashing, you know, diversion of funds. We're seeing some decks only on 2 of them, and I think that makes sense. We've even seen some decks that are not playing any diversion of funds, and this card is like not as great as an economic swing as much as it's great as an economic denial tool. And a lot of players at like certain play levels don't play around diversion of funds well enough. That leads into situations that are game losing. If you respect diversion of funds, you have to. It does slow the game down, and it's still good that threat exists. But again, acid matchups, it's kind of difficult sometimes if you can res your stuff to duck it. But yeah, 3 ice, at least one of these will fire somewhat consistently. We have the E shutdown because we want to get that ice derez so we can go back, force the corp to spend more money. This is like fundamentally a bit of a luxury piece, and we'll see how it works out. We have en passant 2 of just trash some ice to open up some central servers, get some Amakua charges. Another luxury piece, but it seems really fun, so why not? Would you like to be some sort of icon at the start of an ability to show it's only once per turn? I don't know if that crowds it. It's just like, it's the emotional roller coaster that I don't like. Maybe a once per turn icon would be really cool. Maybe, but I just don't know if we have to make it like people be like, what's that icon mean? Maybe this, they have the icon and then you have this at the end in like parenthetical text. And so then everyone's happy. People who don't understand the icon, and then people who don't have to read the last part of the sentence. Maybe that makes sense. I don't know. Icon, 3-ringed binder. Yikes. We have 3 inside job because we want to be bypassing ice. This card is just relatively good. We're also on 2 boomerang, which might be a bit much. This does break subroutines, which is like not exactly what you want, but we're going to use this to like get early doofs off, E shutdowns, and charge the remote server. So we'll see. I just put the once per turn at the start. Yeah, I do think I like the once per turn at the start a fair bit more, as much as then like, yeah, I like it at the top. I don't know. Or even sometimes it's like saying once per turn, comma, whenever you breach, right? Like that's the idea of putting it at the start of the turn. Maybe that makes a sentence clumsy. I don't know. We have a single mutual favor. We don't have the best card draw on this deck. We're not playing Baya Bans, so like we need to find the breaker when we need to find it, as much as ideally we're getting somewhat decently far without, you know, needing this. We have a pinhole because it's really good. I didn't realize till like this last weekend that Xayah with pinhole works in a way that's kind of really cool. If you Xayah HQ and pinhole a card in a remote server, you gain a credit. That's cool. Sure gamble, of course. Hardware, we're on 3 Hermes just on the basis that like we need to, as soon as possible, get this down so that we can actually use early multi-axis and leverage that to like gaining forward momentum. And by that, I mean giving the corporation negative momentum. So 3 of this might be a bit much, but we're doing it. We have a single Docklands Pass because pressure. Capybara probably is not going to make it into the list forever, but we'll do that. And then 2 Boomerang because we did. Resources. We're on 2 Career Fair, which we didn't mention, so we can play some expensive resources. We want to be on some economy that's not run-based. I imagine we might be in the sort of exact same criminal mindset as Modern Criminal, where we're going to like go totally ham for the first couple turns and then set up a bit, build up a twinning, and then go a bit more ham into the mid game. We're only on 1 twinning. Ideally, we have some, you know, multi-axis built in. I do think twinning is just one of the best criminal cards. It's just one of the best cards. So playing 1 is only, you know, it's its own thing. Earthrise for card draw and Class Act for card draw, pretty classic. We have a single liberated account. This influence I really don't like. It's like, it's a way to make money without having to run, which is nice. It's nice with Career Fair, but like the problem with criminals is they just don't have any economy in their entire package that doesn't, it requires running, right? Like we're not getting the free 2 credits a turn with like running archives for free with Sable and info bounty. So this is where we're at. I don't like this at all. Don't know what else to do. Sneak Door. I think we should play a Sneak Door. I think it is just worth it, and we're not going to be full on ice on MU. I think we should make a slot for Sneak Door. Miss Bones. Yeah, okay. We could always cut this and just say assets aren't real. We have a Mystic and a Paladin, which like maybe we're going a bit hard on this because we only have a 1 twinning as a really good payoff card. But I appreciate cards like this that give us economy without interaction that are very, very not click intensive. These cards are really good. Nothing new there. No Estebrado. I don't think so. I just don't understand why we would want to do Estebrado. Because like Estebrado eats into our derez package. It's only good at what, threat 4, which is like a weird time in the game. It's not good on the remote server. So it's like to me worse than 3 inside job. Obviously Boomerang is different because of break subroutines, but like it's really hard. I'd play backstitching before I'd play Estebrado. Like it's in a long line of cards that I'm not even playing the cards in front of it. Evie's waving at you. Hey, Evie, how's it going? Good morning. Is only 1x Liberty counts enough? Are you just burning influence? We are burning influence with this for sure. I think it is enough. I don't think we have to be running that much. And also for derezing ice to some extent, we don't need that much money. So maybe. But I just don't like this. I don't think this is the best use of influence for the deck. Then, of course, you have an Amakua because there's no reason not to be playing Amakua as much as you can't rely on it because of the ubiquity of a virus. It's really good. Then we have Kurapira, which can bypass barriers as much as we can keep that in mind while running centrals. Echelon at some point will be good enough because we have 4 icebreakers and then a Shibboleth, which is like whatever. We can't really play Unity. 1 Estebrado with the twinning and Mercury can be a solid closer, but at that point, like I'd rather just like do inside job and not let a subroutine fire, or like I don't think we have to play that card to do the exact line that you're saying, which is a good closer, and let alone a good way to like fish for potential triggers off of Hermes. It's just like I don't think we need that card to do that. Hey, Captain, Diesel or Nuka? Yeah, there's a chance that Liberate Counts would just be better as a Nuka. I think we can go slow enough to play Nuka. She said see you and ran off. Let me just catch up. Conservation momentum means that if the corp loses momentum, the runner gains momentum. There's only a certain amount of momentum in the world. And so if the corp doesn't have it, you definitely have it. Heath 3 influence? Who is Blum? But could Banhar make sense here? I think there's like really cool lists that are using Banhar and Mercury. I think at that point we have an issue that we don't have enough card draw to support it. But Banhar is another way to make subroutines fire. I don't know if you're going Banhar into like air blades to just not have to deal with the damage. It just, I feel like criminal card draw, and let alone the fact that criminal holds all these like, you know, kind of, I wouldn't say bespoke, but like cards that are a bit more situational, makes me a bit less excited to play Banhar. But like we could probably cut like 2 en passant and a liberated and play 2 Banhar and not feel too bad about it. But I do think we probably need a bit more card draw to support that engine. I like playing White Hat and Mercury because it helps trigger Hermes. Yo, Sanjay, and it's best Chirboga joke. White Hat is like still legal. It's one of the few mini faction cards that are legal. It is 5 influence. What it does inherently is kind of messed up. You are going to pay 3 credits for it on top of whatever the corp pays. The corp generally doesn't pay for this, but this is a very good card. It's also just a card though that is like so dependent on board state, where like in Sunny you could fire it with like very little consideration. I think it's harder in Mercury to make this feel good. I'd play instead of the Paladin probably. Liberated and Crim is good. IMO. Yeah, I'll start here. I do want to put an Earthrise, or sorry, a Sneak Door, because I do think it's good. I know I played Mercury with 2 Sneak Doors before because it is kind of messed up. What card do we want to cut? Oh, Liberate was out. We'll try this. We just need to want to cut 1 card. Just one and find him a class act for late game. Yeah, that's actually kind of true too, is that we can rely on Banhar for the late game, where it's just like, I'm going to go central server, you can't stop me. White has a cool way to shuffle R&D and then run again with Conduit. Yeah, that's true. It does force a shuffle, and it's not even optional, right? Which is kind of neat. White Hat for 2 clicks, 3 cards is not fantastic. It's not amazing. It's not amazing, but what it does is actually like super unique. That is like kind of worth considering, but it's not the best. I'm gonna keep the Capybara. I do think this will be immediately cut, or at least swapped to Bachlan and then inevitably cut. I don't want to play 46 cards here. We need to cut 1 card. We could get away with cutting Miss Bones, maybe. I don't know. This was my logic in my Sable Deep Dive deck. Every click the corp spends stopping me from winning is a click they don't spend to win. Yes and no. Because again, conservation of momentum. Because if they're advised of central servers to the point that you can't get a successful HQ run, they're also not losing. 3rd diversion or 2nd emergency shutdown? I want to, for testing purpose, keep as much economic denial to see if we can make Mercury feel better. So I'm not going to do those yet. But I think that's like obviously not bad. Like I'd probably cut a 2nd Capybara, but like at that point, we're not testing. We're just kind of, you know, doing what we think is correct, which is probably what we want to do. Cut Bravado? Oh, Bravado is so messed up. Bravado is like one of the best cards in the entire game. That's a hard cut. This card is like, should be banned. I don't think this is healthy. This is not a healthy card for the game. It's good that it's running, but like whatever. Is IJ your only direct bypass tool? Yeah. You're probably going to find that Capybara is going to feel less good because you don't really target the derez. which is like why I think it should be like this. Because this is like bypass without requiring so many things. Cut a career fair? I don't know. Career fair is pretty good. We have a lot of targets, and this is like better than Sure Gamble. I don't know. I think a click to install a card and save 3 for the single click is actually better than Sure Gamble. I'm like super career fair, high on career fair, more than most people are. Bachlin's so sick, I know. Cut 1 Class Act Go. Class Act is like really good because we don't have card draw, and it's also like kind of a cromulent tech piece into a lot of the kill meta. I like Class Act. No Estebrado at all? No, not at all. I don't think it's a good enough card. Yo, Daijin, how's it going, man? I think I might have told you this, but I've been saying Diogen like an absolute Anglo for such a long time until I heard, you know, locals said Diogen like that. I'm like, yeah, that makes way more sense. What am I doing? Yeah, our deck is now embiggen. Let's try this. Let's try this. Oh, yo, check this out. Ooh, this is weird to me. I'm not used to this. Did you try the tricky Mercury that I presented to you? I don't think I tried the one that you presented. I'm trying the one that I presented. Oh, this doesn't look right. So, oh, that looks actually not great. Okay, so check this out. I just want to make sure I get the name right here, but there's an extension called Cyberfeeder that you can get. I'm on Firefox. This extension comes from Rahi, who mentioned this a while ago. I already on JNet have some CSS extensions to make things like credit counts and click counts and all this little stuff bigger because it's better for streaming. I already do that. And this allows you to mess with the CSS, so the styling, so that certain things look bigger on the stream and certain things look smaller. This right now looks a bit messy. I'm not sure exactly why. The buttons are obviously a bit broken. That's probably because we have something here that is not correct, but we'll figure it out. But you'll see in the game that I do think a lot of parts of this look better. So I'll show you what we can do, and you can let me know what helps you to watch the stream and what doesn't help you to watch the stream. Having COVID sucks, but at least I can watch the stream. Oh, I'm honored. I hope you're feeling better a lot soon. Jinteki is in the upside down. Mercury. Because there's a lot of parts of this that make the thing a lot more watchable, I think. But obviously, some parts of this are not correct. Is there an option to have several lines of servers to stream asset spam games? I don't know. I don't know if that's something you can fix exactly with CSS. I need to delete DECKLISTS. That takes forever. Galhara, by the way, how's it going? Hey, Augustus, how you doing? Congrats on, you did a UK Nats finish, right? Court, not correct. But I'll show you what we can do here. There's some really cool buttons. There's Mia Worlds, like, Kane credit COVID quarantine for getting me back into Netrunner, actually. Oh, sick. Time to get tilted because we're playing a weaker ID. Yeah, I know. I'm going to try and avoid that. It's fine. Finally catching a live stream. Welcome. Okay, so this does a couple things already. Firstly, it adds names on the top of the cards. I kind of like that. I wonder if that helps people or it makes it crowded because some people don't know the names of the cards. Obviously, it's not the whole name, but I think that's like a really nice start. Obviously, this bar won't be here. There's some other things we can do. We can label corp cards also will have names on top of them. It'll also allow us to show labels on our unresed ice, which is like, you know, bad for stream sniping. That's not a real thing, but it's like bad. It's easier to watch. So let me know if any of this makes it worse or better for you, but this you can get, again, it's called Cyberfeeder. If you search Cyberfeeder plugin on Firefox, again, it's Rahi, right? I just want to get the name wrong. Yeah, Rahi. It's kind of cool. Our numbers are already really big, so it didn't have a huge impact on that, but they're slightly bigger now, which is great. We're playing against op, which can be tricky. Derezzing op cards can be useful. If this is asset op, it's a problem. I don't know. Yeah, it shows the full name. I don't like this hand. Labels on unres ice and acids is great, not just for streaming, but also playing corp. Yeah, it does help. I do highlight my cards, but I know people ask, like, what's that ice on? What's it called? And then, like, you can let them know. Scroll down for message. Oh, cool. It does some stuff for the chat log. Okay, this looks like Assets Ob, which, like, that sucks because some of the Assets Ob decks, like Facet Ob, actually plays a lot of small agendas. So, like, in theory, getting down, what's it called, and running R&D, what is it called? A Hermes would actually be, like, relatively good. So I don't know if we're going to run R&D here. I think we're in Rome, so we might as well. So we can do Sure Gamble. We can run R&D C2, run server 1, run server 2. We'll see how it is. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. So this is on as few agendas as possible. And we're going to struggle to steal them. So our multi-axis is actually totally useless there. We could have stolen some of the other 5-3s, though. But this is going to be Assets Ob. So we want to trash Rashida's here, and we want to trash, like, Svigator's. Urban Renewals, we'll trash it. We can leave this one go. If it's a Rashida, we're punished, but I think we want to get our economy down. We could, in theory, get oppoed here, it'd be fine. I want that in real life I don't get accidentally rezzing an agenda whenever I play PE. Wall to wall, okay. They get good value from that. They advance their ice, but it can be any ice. It doesn't have to be advanceable. You can get the one I win for taking down Italy Nats. I'll get the one in second place Italian Nats because the one is mine. Oh, I gotta message the Italian Nats people. This is not good. This is a bit busted. Install Advance, Audacity, Aziev for 2 damage. They're gonna trash the wall to wall. I think we're okay with this. We would like to not lose our echelon forever, but I don't think we're gonna install it anytime soon. So they got a Spin Doctor, and that's that. There's nothing we can trash. Scroll down for new messages. Okay. So they scored out. So we want to probably run R&D, run the Spin Doctor, run R&D. The issue though is like this deck is running 3 SDFs and then SDSs, and I don't know what the other points are. It might be on other fast event stuff, but this is okay for us. We need a draw for sure. That's okay. If we run Spin Doctor, they'd probably pop it, and then we can run R&D and C2. I think that's okay. Looks like Facedob, which is only 2 SDS. Okay, so they're running a lot more agendas if it's Facedob. We thought they would pop it, otherwise we could consider playing Sure Gamble. I don't think we needed to, because I think they'd pop it. Now we can lock the top of R&D. That's kind of cool. Actually, hold on. We should play this first, because we might trash. In theory, we die if they top deck exactly like Audacity Aziev, because we only have 1 card in hand, but that's pretty unlikely. And here, we're like, I'd rather, unfortunately, be Sable, or even Zaya. Yeah. All right. I don't want them to draw another card. I don't want them to draw another card. That's fine. 2 SDS, 3 SDF, 2 Atlas, 1 Above the Law, 1 Slash and Burn. I thought it'd be more Slash and Burn. Thank you, Mundi. Not R&D first. I don't think the shuffle is that good. Like, I think our clicks are more spent locking the deck than trying to maximize accesses. So one of these is obviously the, what's it called? The Bladder. We're going to draw up. Like, this is where, like, just having fundamentals like Daily Cast helps a lot, because we can check the table. And if they don't have a table, they don't have a game, because all the ways to get money is off the table. So we're just going to trash this. This will leave us on 3 credits. We can play a Daily Cast. We're not likely to die to Aziev because we didn't last turn. They'd have to top deck one of it perfectly. We didn't get our ability this turn, but I think that's totally fine. All right, they're pushing for remote server. If they res a border control, they spend 3 credits. That's okay. We can then pinhole it. It's probably Rashida, but we want to force them to res here. In theory, we should draw once so we don't die to potentially an Angelique, which I'm not sure if it's in the facet list. If we do Boomerang Run, I think we could do Boomerang Run. If it's a border control, they have to pop a border control for 4 credits, and then we can still pinhole a Rashida. If they border control, they won't have enough money to score out, so that's fine. Did you see that res animation? That's new. That's part of the plugin. Again, let me know if these texts help, or if it makes things too busy. Do we want to click for Urban? Dennis, what do you mean? How's it going, by the way? Huh. So we either have to draw or trash that. I think we trash that, which means they get a Rashida. Neat. I do like that res animation. So they can't res the thing that makes us do 2 damage. That ain't facet. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to hurt us. So now I'm scared. So they're not an Angelique threat. They have 1 credit. I think we're just going to trash this, because otherwise this becomes a 2-coster. And then they, not only would we die if we don't draw, of course, but that would become a regolith, and that's a problem. I like the run phase label on the arrow. I didn't actually notice that. So it doesn't look like it's a Rashida. So it looks like it's something that is an agenda they can score out. We just need card draw. We need a Class Actor and Earthrise. That's unfortunate. And like, this is, you know, the beauty of Sable, is that we could have got the free runs as opposed to having to spend a click to see 2 cards, which we don't want to do. I think this might be a Rashida. If it's an Angelique, that's fine. We have a click to draw. But if, yeah, it's above law. That makes more sense. Sorry. It didn't make sense to be Rashida because they would have drawn. So I thought it was an agenda. I'm not running R&D there. We could have, but we're keeping the board down. We're doing okay. Yeah, the animation's good. It does help you understand what's being rezzed. I'd like that change a heck of a lot. And that's just like a CSS change, which is kind of sick. Okay, so now it's an Angelique on top of something. We can always just like pinhole threading the right one. If it's an Angelique, they have to res it. So that will put us on, we want to be on 4 credits when we do that, because we pay for 1 and we want to need trash Urban. So we'll pinhole. Now, if they want Angelique to fire, they have to res it. There's the urban, so it's probably on top of Angelique. We could run our DC2. We now know that's an upgrade for sure. Is the SDS an HQ? No, because they audacity'd. So it's probably, they definitely got rid of it. We could run HQ here in C2. I think we do. On 2 credits, they can't res anything. If they res what's it called? A little ants, we walk away. They can avoid checking face checks more in this matchup. I like to keep their money down. Anvil, SDS. Okay, that's a different SDS. And we have an E shutdown, which is not going to feel good. Sang was using Cyberfeeder as well the other day. Yes. Yeah, I was a bit worried of putting on Cyberfeeder because I already did CSS hacks, but apparently they work together. The major threads like Urbans have to get res before they can hurt you. I just wanted to keep Greasy off of actual credits. This looks like it's an Anvil, which is like kind of fine because it doesn't do anything. Because we don't have a board state. I think we let the Anvil to be resed. Oh, well. Install some programs, but then the Anvil hits us. Like, we can't. Like, we're just going to wait there until we make a run on HQ and win. Because there's only one more Spin Doctor. Maskarovka, fascinating. Is that better than Sandstone? Interesting. Afshar, that's ice. That's not good. So now we need to stabilize a bit. Career for Lib is a nice way to get back into this. But we know this is an Anvil, which trashes one of our installed cards at, you know, any cost. So they've drawn one unknown card. They have 5 credits. I'm still just going to send it R&D, and we'll start there. As soon as we put the career fair down, this being res, the Anvil is really bad for us. Border control, Drudge. I think we let them have the Drudge. It fixes the SDS a bit. We'll trash it on the table. The biggest problem with Mercury is I get the multi-actions and think, wow, it'd be nice to get Zaya credits from that. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'd rather be Zaya so far to date, or even Sable. Like, that's an issue that we just have to get around. So I'll put this down to stabilize. Just having money is important in the matchup. Making sure we have more than one card in hand is important. Maskarova might be an indication of mad shenanigans, but more likely it's just a card they like. I think so. Mercury Aeneas. Oh, that's kind of cool, guy. I like Mercury Aeneas. So that has to be the Drudge work. So we need to trash that because it eventually becomes a 1-coster. We have 2 Urbans out, which is a good spot, but we're definitely going to trash that. We haven't seen an SDS or anything. So I think our goal is like trash the Liberated, trash the Drudge work, run R&D so we don't get Anviled. But running through an Anvil last click, they could technically res that this is probably 0-coster, so they can't really, you know, get good value from it. I think like Arsana, when you play Mercury, you need to build in a reason to run because see a second card isn't good enough reason on its own. Yeah. So we can do this and run in C2. We're running last click. If there's something that tags us, that could be an issue, but I'm pretty sure it's an Anvil. And again, that doesn't do anything. Yeah, movement. That's cute. Audacity. That's scary. Corporate Town. Okay, cool. We're seeing a lot of cards. We're just not seeing agendas. We're just staying on top of trashing the acids, which is good. Yes. Oh, that was an HQ. That snuck through the 1 turn that they drew past us. So when they score this out, this does 4, 5, 6 damage. That's a problem unless we get a class act down, and even then we need cards in hand. They're going to get that for sure, and then Audacity is going to win the game. Top of the deck is Corporate Town. Draw. We'll run R&D. I wonder if we have to check archives at some point. Running HQ is also kind of okay, but I think we know almost all the cards in there. It's Corporate Town into Border Control. I feel like Mercury's ability is only super worth it when it's stacking with other multi-axes. Imagine we had a Hermes. And like, that's a big thing is we have 3 Hermes in the deck. At that point, Anvil would be an issue. But like having 3 Hermes in the deck actually means that we can not so much deal with the City Works because it's rezzed, but deal with other stuff, I guess. We have more money. We shouldn't play that short gamble. We have more money than we need. Okay, so now we just need to flush HQ because we know they 100% have... Can trash Angelique if they score next turn? Yeah, we probably will. But now we know they have an Audacity in hand. We know their hand is probably clean. So I'm going to run this, server 10. I'm going to run HQ. I think we should draw once. Yeah, that's not that good, but eventually it'll be good. The thing is with Audacity, they need only 1 credit. Yeah, it's Angelique. She's down. We have to swipe HQ because we know they have an Audacity. I think we've seen just about every card they've drawn. So we're going to see Border Controls in here in Corporate Town. We could consider trashing that just to have less cards in hand. It might be correct. I don't know how we're going to spend 15 credits before we lose the game. I won't. Maskarovka, we know Border Control. We know Corporate Town. If we run R&D, we only see a single, and we know the top of R&D already. We can run Archives, I guess. We don't have that much else to do this turn. But if they draw, they break lock. They threw out an Audacity. Oh. Huh. They also have the Rococo fast events line, but that's trickier. Okay, so they're on 4 credits. The top of R&D we can actually lock. Mercury is now relevant as much as we haven't played a single card on the table in a long time. So if there is an anvil here, it's not particularly good. I don't think we have to run HQ. I think we know every single card. Nice. Cool. Anvil me. Got him. That's it. We got it. In theory here, if they had a res card, they could actually shuffle, but because they're only face down, they can't shuffle. The shuffle would have been pretty sick. So the subroutine's fire. Clean. Cool. Good game. Don't install cards. It's a weakness. It's a weakness leaving your hand. That was wild. That was pretty wild. Mercury felt okay. It felt okay, but I feel like we would have been better off with the other criminals. We did see a lot of cards though. I don't know what the access chart was, but like we saw a lot of cards, and especially when we're trying to lock the R&D, which is like the greasy thumb played into it, where locking R&D was the one that they would lose. That was good for us. Parable of the Raft board state. I don't know what that means, Sanjay, but I want to know it. You were owed the access. Yeah, it was wild. That one City Works, it snuck through on the turn you triple drew, right? See, this is proof for Mercury's ability is all you need. Yeah, we installed 2 daily casts, a liberated, and then like 2 breakers. Yeah. Wow. Woof. Alright, nice. Thanks to the game. Alright, we learned nothing because we literally did not play any card in our deck, basically. So we'll go again. It felt cool. Seeing cards is fun though. Like there's something to be said about seeing extra cards. It's like genuinely fun. Let's run it back. Washboard state with those abs? Yo, Pink Buckle, that's really good. Yeah, I do see that a lot. Like, I don't know. We recently put up a video in which like a criminal deck has like 2 cards installed after we do like an infinite combo, and like you can still win the game. Obviously, Amaku's a heck of a card. Oh, wish Titanium Ribs was still a card? It'd actually be pretty good. I know it sees play in like Eternal ESA decks. Okay, Ace of Group. Hey, we'd love to see an early Hermes again against Criminal. They're not that good at icing up centrals because they push a remote server. Our early play is generally like Bravado into the remote server, and then we pinhole it because it's a Rashida. So this hand is like totally keepable. Even like Bravado, the remote server, if they res, we can just like run HQ, C2, E shutdown, run back. Like that's kind of messed up. That's kind of really messed up. I'm gonna keep this hand for sure. I hope we just don't hit an MIC, but if they res an MIC for 6 and we run HQ next turn and derez it, like we win the game. I wonder if this is going to be like some two-conic ganked nonsense. I've heard some good stuff about the deck. No big deal. Who's playing Titanium Ribs as an Eternal? Because I need to get them talking to. I think Jeff did on stream at like the Eternal tournament, like the league. And it seems kind of fun. Like playing ESA with 3 running hot and then 3, whatever running hot was on FFG World. Like, it's kind of sick. I wonder if this is Mikasa Tukasa. Yeah, I'm thinking Thanos. I might have to play around that. Sick. Okay. Whoa. Is Cyberfeeder Firefox only? It might be. So this gives us enough credit to trash Rashida. Not that much else. If a drafter fires here, it's fine. If it's a gatekeeper, it's fine. If they res the ice here, they don't res the ice on centrals. We see the whole hand. No further action. So this is probably, unfortunately, Tranquility. Yeah. We need to deal with that. I think we just run back. We consider run HQ. We definitely need to trash the Tranquility. We'll run HQ here. We see the whole hand. That controls the game. If they res here, like if it's a, like imagine resing a Hagen going down to 1 credit. Otherwise, we see the whole dang hand. It's a wraparound. Oh, cool. This might be a bit of a faster deck. That's actually a really good ice there. So now we'll run server 1 and we'll just put down Paladin. Have you heard the wonders of running hot Laguna Velasco? Yo, that seems cool. Ooh. Okay, so this is where things get interesting. Is we can see 2 off at the top of R&D. Or we can just go ahead and pinhole down the Ace of Group thing. I think we pinhole it. I think that card's so important for them. And then it forces them to have like no economy whatsoever. Okay. So now we just need to find our Kurapira. It's unfortunately a 1 of. They probably can't ice up R&D, so getting a Hermes means we can attack the server. If we're not that consistent in finding the solutions we need, again, just like getting a Hermes opens up these board states. As much as the ice is res, the stuff in the remote server won't be. Click for 3. Yeah, now we're in boomerang doof territory. Now running R&D and hitting a drafter is actually pretty cursed. This kind of looks a bit like CTZ's deck. I think we might have to respect the drafter. These do not work together. I think we're just going to do credit and then career fair class act. I don't think we need the paladin just yet. Actually, no, it's probably better to do paladin career fair class act. That'll put us on 2 credits though, and then we can't sure gamble. I think we need to sure gamble out of this hole because I don't even think we have dirty laundry in the list. We don't. So it's actually hard to get out of this hole. So I don't want to go too low in credits. Huh. That's something. We have 1 mutual favor, 1 Kurapira. Amaku is not going to slice it against the big old 7th rank wrap until you get a fractor down. At that point, it will slice it, but Kurapira will slice it even better. And then we'll bypass a Brawn or something disgusting. If this is CTZ's deck, it is running, what's it called? MIC. And I don't know, maybe actually Wraparound also sees play in the big deal versions, right? Like the Midnight 3 Arcology versions, if I'm not mistaken, which I'm still not too familiar with the deck is doing. I just haven't had to play it yet. We played around it, but every time you play around it, it feels very different. Wraparound's interesting. It's like pretty good, right? Like into Audrey, it's very good. Into Botchos, obviously it's not good. That deck, generally most of the mulch decks only have 1 cleaver. Ooh, that's not great for us. And maybe we shouldn't respect the drafter though, but if drafter puts a trank back on the table, we kind of have a problem. All right. What do we do here? Scared of drafter. We can do credit, gamble, paladin, daily casts. That's probably fine. We're not getting our free card draw a turn. It probably is better we draw once. Yo, Chenchlink, how's it going? Good to see you too. Or to hear from you. Yeah, I think that's fine. 7-string Wraparound is exactly 1 higher than Slap Vandal, which is nice. Yeah, a lot of the Aristotle decks are not even playing Slap Vandal anymore, which like, ooh, the highlighting of the text is really good. But yeah, that is a cool interaction. 7 is like a really weird spot. I think we're gonna, we definitely want 1 of these down. If we draw, we'll be to 8, we'll discard. Let's just get the whole farm down. Like, worst case, Rashida. I would think they would put it behind a Wraparound, so more likely a Maryland. Yeah, I don't know. This is probably a fully op setup, but like, I don't know why you'd put a card here instead of here. Especially because double icing is inherently really strong against a deck that's probably playing 3 inside jobs. And like just getting a Hermes down and inside jobbing HQ, right? Oh yeah, that makes more sense. Wage workers makes a lot of sense. Triple draw, we really need to send it HQ here. They're probably going to double install into server 1, which means it has to be Rashida because they won't even have money for seamless launch. Unless it's a transubstantiation. So here we're like 1 diversion from having something really cool, and we want to deal with the wage workers. Oh, YDL. Okay, so it is the sort of deck that we're not actually sure what it is. Draw. Ugh. En-passants are feeling kind of bad. They're kind of feeling bad, as much as we could have en-passanted the remote server turn 1 for a second there. Draw. This is nowhere near as aggressive as I want the deck to feel. This feels rough. Maybe we can't play this many E shutdowns because we don't have that many ways to like actually get an access into HQ that soon into the game. Maybe we can just risk the drafter. I don't know. At least they're not doing too much. They're like just trying to stabilize. So we can play these 2. We probably need to draw more, let's be honest. Throwing out an en passant is kind of fine. Nah, I'm just going to stick to the course. Next turn. Yeah, we also have a sneak door. A sneak door here would be busted good. I think playing 2 sneak doors is totally reasonable because they probably have agendas in their hand. They had to do a triple draw. Like they had to commit to it. So even if they draw agendas, they like keep drawing agendas. But like maybe 2 sneak door, 3 Hermes is where you want to be. They don't res you can on R&D. The problem is like we can't really risk it because we haven't seen any drafters. And if that's a drafter which puts back the Tranquility home grid, we're in a really bad spot. So like you kind of have to risk it to some extent. The deck is only on Managarm, but like that's a really high blowout if it is the thing. Spin Doctor, they're looking for a 3rd install. Sneaker being 2 MU is tight on the rig before you find Hermes. It is, but also like look how bad we are at finding breakers, Izzy. Yeah, this is good. This is where we need like en passant. Sorry, we need inside job Hermes. We have 1 mutual favor. Play more breakers. It honestly might be true. It's like we just play more breakers. Unfortunately, breakers and Mercury don't exactly line up. But yeah, It's not wrong. Even just getting down here a Hermes before they potentially score out next turn with seamless launch seems important. Yeah, their economy's fixed now too. Oh, they keep drawing. Give me something that can do something. That can do something. So, if we draw once more, I think if anything, we'd take down the wage workers so they can't just score out a 4-2 and have a click left. Or sorry, they can't. It's actually useless against seamless. Yeah, ban her is okay, and I would ban her this hand, but the problems with this hand. Except the ID triggers only early game, transition to control crim. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be excited to play Mercury though, if that's the case. Like, it didn't even fire once this game. I think trashing the wage workers actually makes a fair bit of sense. We could also draw. If we get boomerang diversion, it doesn't actually save us. I don't know if the deck is on off-world opposite, or it might just be midnight 3. Do we force a res before we go HQ to get ESD value? I don't know if we can afford to face check a drafter here. WW lets them AAA seamless. If they AAA seamless, they're scoring out an Ikoa, and if they score an Ikoa, I think we're happy, Solmir. I think we're really happy. Unless it's like specifically what's it called, the luminal on the table. This would be a great spot for Estebrado. It's no better than Inside Job because you can't Estebrado the remote server and we're not a threat for. It's literally a worse Inside Job on the sports date. I'm going to take this down. Oh, thanks, Paladin. That's a Paladin. Hey, Dave. Boomerang diversion to emergency shutdown and en passant all in. It's like a fun line. Like you shut down and then you trash the ice. Like we can blow open HQ. I think that's actually what our line is. Actually, David, that's not a bad line. But they would be, because we run. I honestly like that line. Our boomerang's stranded there, that's fine. We could contest the spin doctor here. It doesn't really matter that much. I think we're more importantly, we need a setup. That's not what we want. But opening up HQ means that they have to ice HQ instead of scoring out. We're trying to do both. I kind of think that line's actually okay. As much as trashing a wraparound is like, just get a breaker. But when we don't have a breaker, that's like a nice way to make, you know, that's how you make Mercury relevant. Like even what might have been a better line is like we put boomerang on R&D, run. They probably don't res. Actually, into a boomerang, you do res. And then we like obviously en passant it. But then we lose our boomerang. For sure, Brits copies 3 and 4 in the early game, but better in the late game. Yeah, I just still don't think that Estebrado is more interesting than 3 inside job 2 boomerang and then even backstitching before that, right? Like it's a card that does something similar to the other cards that see more play. Don't score a luminal. Oh, wow. Okay, it's a Vitruvius. We're lucky that we trashed the thing. They're in 6 credits. Okay, draw for mutual or Kurapira. Huh. It's a pass. We don't really need the bravado. We just need to get to Hermes. Imagine we Hermes R&D there and we have a play. I think running the spin doctor is okay. Yeah, I think I'd actually only play spearfishing over Estebrado. Yeah, I would just draw. Thought I bottomed you. If we get Echelon down, we actually can break Drafter in a pinch, and I think that will allow us to be slightly aggressive, which is okay. Yeah, install Echelon so you don't fear Drafter. I think that's correct. So here we can Bravado R&D and force a res. If we have to break a Drafter, mind you, it's still very expensive, but we're going to do it. Running last click means they can res with safety, and we can't en passant. I'm still going to do it. We just need to get our ability online. If it's a Magnet or Enigma, like we're fine. If it's an on-sell, technically we'll be sort of fine. But this now locks the deck as much as Spin Doctor will shuffle. This sort of like aggression is not, yeah, that's fine. That's a good res for us. This sort of aggression, like, this is the issue now is like Mercury won't be able to get a double access here. And actually maybe resing that was wrong because now if we get a Hermes down, which is a 3 of in the deck, we can't open R&D. So actually I maybe regret that. I think that's like one of the hardest things with this deck is understanding where you want to allow them to res and where you don't. And that's like the weird line between Mercury aggression and Mercury non-aggression is that you kind of want aggression, but also if they res their stuff, your ability is less relevant unless you play bypass cards, which so far we've kind of considered to me not that easy to play. Just give me 1 second. Okay, what do they do? Double install, ice on R&D. So here we definitely want to get in. Ideal Mercury play is passive aggressive. Yeah, it's like the midpoint. We have so much money. We definitely just want a way to get into HQ and a Hermes to take this apart. Let's draw once, of course. Okay. I think here we boomerang the wraparound and we go in. They don't have that much money to res that many defensives. If they res a magnet, they have no money. It has to be Rashida. We'll go for it. We can pay the money for the Managarm. If they Anoetic, there goes their whole hand, and they can't score out. Lots of basic ETRs on this ice. Better watch out for ID Department and Sandberg. I think this is this sort of like either what's it called, Midnight 3 Arcology decks. We also can, like, in theory, en passant this ice now, which is kind of fun. If we had Hermes, we'd actually consider going Centrals. Or like Fast Advance Audacity. Same concept when playing Leela Hermes, yeah. They res the Managarm, that's fine. We can afford that. So let's access the new card, Rashida. Good. That keeps them out. This is a Tranquility. Get out of our game. It's a Managarm. Get out of our game. We don't have money. That's fine. We could, in theory, trash the Echelon. I don't think we do. I don't like the fact that we didn't deal with the Spin Doctor first, but we denied them a lot of value here. Now our money's a bit close. But we don't en passant this, do we? I think we do. Get out of a game. It's fun to have that. Okay, now that they're a bit more scared too, so now they know that we have 3 inside jobs that are unaccounted for. A boomerang in 28. It's something, but we spent a lot of money on that. That's where we'd love to have the Miss Bones down, but we haven't drawn Class Act. Oh, we have a Class Act. We haven't drawn Earthrise. Izzy, I appreciate that you're keeping us on top of the contractual obligation, because I do agree with you. Yeah, en passant is a contractual obligation. Yeah, we trashed 8 credits worth of stuff there. That's a big swing, let alone we paid 5 on top of that. Now they can't do anything. This is good. Again, if we had a Hermes and a Kurapira. All right, fantastic. Unfortunately, if we break the wraparound, we don't get our Mercury ability, so I don't want to show this just yet. We could do Kurapira into Diversion. That's pretty fine. We might want to wait for them to jam into remote server, because then we can actually run that, and then they'll probably have 5 credits, so I'm not too scared. That is good, but we're not going to financially recover from that. So I think our line is like Kurapira. We have some blowouts here, right? Like we do Kurapira. Oh, you're right. Maybe we could have just done Kurapira emergency shutdown. That would have been fine. But I was going to say, like, we do Kurapira, run HQ. I don't want to E-shut down this. Like, we probably E-shut down the magnet. I just want a Hermes. We have 3 in the deck. We haven't seen one in 2 games. I think we just do credit here. They have a lot of things to do to not get, like, potentially blown out by this board state. But yeah, Kurapira Diversion E-shutdown is like super mean. Then they have HQ problems, and obviously we need to transition to Hermes for that to be good. But we definitely want to take away their money. We probably could have gone for it this turn. I think we might be being greedy. If they get a Managarm on the table, they can duck res or like the last Tranquility, and that's obviously an issue for us. And this is where Paladin's good. Like, just, you know, obviously passive. Oh, click the 7. Let's go. I don't think we E-shut down on this turn. It doesn't really do anything. E-shut down is a successful run. It's a successful run on HQ. So it works after the doof, but it has to be HQ. But here, it doesn't really matter. Like, we don't need to E-shut down this turn, because, like, we run back for 1 and get a Kurapira counter. Like, here, we can go see a single. I think going to see a single is worth it. We have Docklands, but we're slightly too slow on it, because we want them to overextend and over ice HQ, and then we pop down the sneak door. I'm not trashing that. In the 2 cost of video, you made the most fun slip of tongue. You said the asset clause allows you to install a non-card. Yeah, I should say that. I didn't correct it in text. Only install non-cards. I like so often say the wrong thing when talking quickly, and it's probably an issue. It's a problem. I don't like it. Okay, likely the Spin Doctor, but we don't know. On 3 credits, we can force a res here. Unfortunately, the Docklands Pass Sneak Door is a bit better. We know there's just a Spin Doctor somewhere here. This would have to be a seamless launch. Stole noun cards into my mouth. Thinking like, oh man, how do we transition into like getting pressure? So far, Mercury hasn't been relevant, but how do we transition to get pressure here? Running HQ, we can see 2 cards if we get down to Docklands for 1. We could run the remote server. They can res a drafter. It's really expensive. It's 5 credits for us, as much as it'll be all their money. But then we could E-shut it down later on in that same run. This is likely a Spin Doctor. I think we can afford 1 to check. If it's a Gatekeeper, we're okay with it. We're actually really okay with it if it's a Gatekeeper. I think at this point, okay, so there's a couple face downs in Archives. We might want to run there. I'm not sure when they discarded. But we want to get those cards back into the game before we're like contesting HQ in a couple turns. We'll do draw once for a good run event. That's a good run event. But that's also the Hermes that we want. We're going to go for the Hermes. So here I think we do Hermes, Docklands, run HQ. Go for 2, go for the bounce. We can't steal Ikawa, actually, which is a bit of a mistake here. That's the case. We shouldn't get Docklands, and Ikawa is most likely to be in the hand because it's the one agenda they have no interest in scoring for the next couple turns. So this is the sort of fast events CTZ type deck. Audacity is really scary. We should contest the Spin Doctors. But at least if that's the case, we can open up R&D and then start locking from there. Ah, shit. We didn't see that. I didn't think they'd have that. That's an offer Lapis. That's a big issue. So we can bounce a card to hand. Oh, that's slipping away. We could have contested that. We definitely should have. We didn't see a Seamless, so I didn't think they would go for the 4-1. That's a really, really narrow push out, and that works out well for them. So we know they have a Doctor in hand. All the other stuff we saw. So we know Doctor, Audacity. I think we knew one more card, but maybe not. So we return this on R&D. We still can't break with that. We can derez it, which forces them to pay 3. We do derez this. Not great. The diversion 1 is on the bottom, so we only have one more in the top 23, 22. Actually, probably 20. We've drawn a fair bit. So we can... That's now an ice in their hand, a Spin Doctor Audacity. Play runner today. Yeah, pink. We're trying some Mercury. The issue is that we let this Magna be res, and that's a problem for us. We can obviously shut it down. It's not very good. We need to get some sort of forward tempo. Okay, we have a mutual favor. We have Shibboleth, which now is really bad into Magnet. Like, very bad into Magnet. I think we have to do credit. Sure gamble. If we contest a Spin Doctor, they put the second Spin Doctor down. The chance of the HQ running being good is like very, very, very low. So I think we wait for them to Spin Doctor and then we do Sneak Door. So we're going to hope that they Spin Doctor. We also now have mutual favors on the bottom of our deck. So this is difficult. And this is the sort of ice suite that, like, obviously E shutdown's not amazing into unless we can really keep their economy down. And obviously this thing is like a huge tempo swing. But if we derez the Magnet, they might have had an issue. Install 9 cards, break Chainhead. So see what Jamil does here. Draws a card. Okay. So there's about 3 unknowns in the hand, 4 unknowns in the hand. They probably want to get an ace install here. I don't know if they respect the double ice. It's only the code gates that are really good. Digital life. So they have money. So now we just have to be as aggressive as possible to put them off of the potential Audacity, which we know they have in hand. What did they do last turn? It's Seamless launch. Okay. Oh, this scroll down message button is sick. Sorry. Let's click. Okay. The timer's Cyberfeeder 2? I don't think so. I think the timer is just JNet. I think I've seen that before. So we want to get Sneak Door Beta, run HQ C3. That's really good. Draw. Liberated might be too slow. But it's also pretty okay with Paladin, but we're going to use the Paladin on the Sneak Door. This is weird where the Liberated actually feels worse than a Daily Cast on this board state. We'll keep the Bravado. So let's go. So this is going to see 3 cards for the first run. Docklands is first time a turn, and Mercury is also once per turn. Seamless. Spin. We know that they have this. Vitruvius, nice. We get a bounce. Unfortunately, the bounce is actually kind of bad because it allows them to reposition their ice. I think putting this back into their hand is more important because it costs credit to reinstall that. Their money's pretty good, though. Here we can Bravado HQ. I think that's what we're going to do on a later turn. Locking the top of R&D is really important. Amakua getting through Magna might be relevant. We know there's Mavirus in the list. Okay, so they have 2 unknown ice in their hand. They discard something. They don't have a Spin Doctor anymore. They have an Audacity, a Seamless. I think that's all we know. We're not amazing at the remote server. We don't have any really good way to deal with a Gatekeeper, MIC, a Magnet. And Kurapira, sorry, not Kura, Shibboleth now is like really, really bad. But they need to ice up archives or just jam whatever they have into the remote server. And the remote server is not going to hold unless they have another code gate, which, like, yeah, they can. We're not the best at that. Okay, archives ice makes a lot of sense. That turns off Sneak Door. Was it still worth it? Probably. But now we can run HQ and C2, which we will probably do. I don't know if we get Amakua down. We'll just Bravado HQ. Let's draw for something. Twinning seems good. but it comes with the cost of not taking our Shibboleth, and our mutual favor is at the bottom of the deck. We have 1 Boomerang to shuffle. Is that when you bypass a wraparound with Kurapira? Yeah, I think we might do it this turn. It drew a fair bit, but yeah, that's a big thing is Kurapira can bypass that so we don't break the subroutines. I think we have to go for the Shibby because we need to run for the remote server. So I do think we just Bravado HQ here, see 3 cards. We know Seamless, we know Audacity. That's it. Actually, even Sneak Dooring to force them to res is pretty relevant, but actually if we don't, we can bounce. But yeah, here we will bypass. That's why we play Kurapira, let alone. Because you could have just used Kurapira for triple access because of the border control, because of the tokens on HQ. Yeah, we will do it now. Spend 3 power counters, yes. So we see 3 here. They drew a bit. We want to do these on the turns that they really draw. Audacity, we need that. Fully operational, okay, that's a problem. Seamless launch, okay, not too much gained from that. We can derez the magnet and run R&D and force a res. Not enough MU for Shibboleth. The Sneak Door is done enough. Actually, no, we have enough MU for Shibboleth. And Amaku, yeah, we won't do both. I think we have to rely more on the Shibboleth. We can shut down Magnet and run R&D and force them to res. It costs us more clicks than the 3 credits matters for them, so I think we'll just continue to draw up. Career Fair, whatever. Inside Jobs is really good. What deck is Canadian playing? Nerd Rage. This is our own deck. I don't know if, I guess I can share it, but this is currently the list we're playing. I think we changed a couple cards, but it's just like our own Mercury brew to do some Mercury testing today. It's been like kind of where we expected to, but also the problem is like, we're not playing with any of the fun cards. Like they drew, so they have 2 extra cards. We're not playing with any of the weird derez packages. Like we're still just playing with, you know, basic criminal stuff that unfortunately, again, makes Mercury seem like it would play better out of any of the other aggressive criminals. So that's the issue. So if we don't play with any of the weird stuff, we're not doing too much. Gotcha, thanks. Yeah, of course. So here we have an interesting line. We're assuming that could be anything. Obviously, it could be an agenda. Let's see if they draw or not. They're not drawing. Okay, so that means they probably don't have agendas in hand. So our line is either, it's probably inside job R&D so that we don't break the subroutine so we can see 2 cards and get a Hermes bounce. If that's an agenda, right? Like if we've gone through 29 cards and we've only seen 4 agendas, that's like pretty low. So the chance of seeing 2 on R&D and stealing an agenda is actually relatively high. We don't want to put down Shibboleth because then we actually break Magnet. So I think here we probably just inside job R&D and go for the bounce. We're trading the fact that we can't inside job server 2. We can always just install the Kurapira and run it, or sorry, the Shibboleth and run it, but I want to inside job R&D and I think it actually has a high chance of paying out. And we have Ikwa, collects and credits. Crim feels better when you get 15 extra credits from Paladin. Yep. Hot Tech. Magnet. Ikwa, there you go. That makes sense. And now we can bounce this and slow down their game. So we know they're drawing a Magnet, which double Magnet means we can't do our thing. This is where like you would like an Estabrado in theory. We need to install something with Pally. Going HQ has a chance of winning the game because we can access the 1 card they have in hand as much as our money is a bit messed up. So I think here we install Amaku and we run HQ. We see 2 cards. Our money's not good anymore. Paladin? Yeah, no, for sure. Oh, that's not right. Did we pay for it? No, we'd break with this for sure. Always break with this if you can. If it costs the same. So 2 cards, there you go. That was the thing we bounced. Good game. Criminal aggression. Seeing the extra card there actually did matter. Good game. Yo, that off-world push was super clutch. I didn't think you'd do it. Yeah, okay. Felt okay. We got criminal aggression. I still think we're working for our value, but our value is actually pretty reasonable there. Is it better than just getting a twinning down and having the multi-access when it matters on turns like this? Well, no. Who knows? I tried squeaking 1 Debrato in, but I don't think I know what the cut is. Yeah, I'm not sure too. It's really cool though. Like that's like fundamentally the thing with criminal right now is that it forces you to play good fundamentals and it can pay out. Like if we miss the Ikwa there, it'd probably be an issue, but yeah, that's HP into criminal is always a bit cornered. Would we replace E-Shutdown with or add E-Shutdown is better? I think we need to play it into a deck that reses ice that costs more than 3 credits to feel okay about it, but we had some cool E-Shutdown lines on the first couple turns. I do wonder if we should be playing Aeneas or other ways to get like value from our accesses. That would actually maybe make a bit of sense. It's just also a lot of installs. Multi-access matters. I don't think multi-access matters that much. Like I think the amount that you can add multi-access into other decks I'd rather chase other fundamentals more than just like, and we've had this talk so many times, Eugene, like I don't think Netrunner is just about getting as much multi-X's as you can as soon as possible. It's about like threading the board in certain ways and then getting multi-X's at the correct time, which is why, again, like turning wheel, or sorry, the twinning is so messed up. Hey, cheers, you too. Run errands, good luck with not breaking ice. Thank you, Izzy. Enjoy the errands. We'll try again like this. We haven't got a Bachlan down as much as a one of, and it's not good against this ice, but I do also think that might be a problem with derez. Not a lot of people are running the chunkiest of ice. As much as derezing, you know, like Hydra is kind of good. We'll do another one, and we'll do some news after this. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't actually have a board state in any game where Estebrado was better than any of the other options. Reality Plus. Okay, this is also difficult because this is, oh, I don't know if we want to take the Bachlan tag. Who does it? Runner takes a tag. Doesn't matter who does it. Hey. So R plus, I'm assuming is going to be like incredibly competitive deck. This opening hand has no economy. Economy definitely really matters. Inside Job is also like pretty cursed against things like Virtual Service Agent. So like that's also not good for the matchup. And just having more clicks to clear tags is another like Sable versus Mercury win in this exact matchup. Also, the Reality Plus ice is also really bad to derez because derezing things like pings makes no sense. If ESA is not really that impactful. Derezing a Funhouse is probably the higher end of what you'd expect. And this could be any of the Reality Plus decks that did really, really well at UK Nats. So I think B1001 actually showed up on top tables. We'll mull that. Let's see if they don't ice at HQ. That'd be pretty surprising. And even like early game, if we run R&D and like we can't afford to steal a Bologna. Did they mull? They kept and they opened with a Spin Doctor. Okay. You need an ice on HQ here. Wow. I don't know if you ice R&D against a Crim. Like, we actually might just drop them to 0. Like, I don't think I've done this in a long time. But, like, this is why you ice HQ against Criminal, right? Do you always have a backup plan? Seems potentially good for Mercury and derez packages. JM, how's it going? Always have a backup plan is like another card like Estebrado, which they all do something similar, except always have a backup plan is like probably the furthest behind any of those other options. So like I'd rather play Inside Job before it, Boomerang before it, Estebrado before it, Backstitching before it. It's weird. It's just like the design space of Criminal would be like, this is a card that makes you run and bypass ice. Like we've seen 7 or 8 different cards that do that, and it's really hard to be anything besides the best one. Yeah, I've never double duped someone. I don't think I've actually ever done that because it's so unlikely for them to not ice R&D and have 10 credits, about 10 credits on turn 1. That ice is a bit late. Yeah, now if it's a ping, right, like it's a bad tempo check. But if it's a ping, we can't really run R&D. I think if we sneak door here, like we have to be ready to steal, what's it called? To steal a Bologna, and then we also have to be ready for threat 3. Yeah, I don't know if I keep doof into R plus anyways. Yeah, I don't often keep dupe into R+. I don't think. Maybe you do. If we install these, we go down 7 cards, we go to 5, we'll be on 7 next turn. That's probably good enough. The amount of clicks that saves us on drawing pays for the money. Not the best. I really enjoy the Logic Bomb 3x Mercury list. Yeah, Logic Bomb's another option. Again, I think it falls into the camp of Bachlan, of like high influence for cards that are worth playing. It's hard to play into Ikoa with the Logic Bomb, that's for sure. But how's it going, Dan? Yeah, I think Logic Bomb is an option. Planogram for 3, okay. Turns out they want to tag us. Who would have guessed? And now even throwing the Spin Doctor is a bit difficult. Okay, they're pushing for remote server. Bravadoing into R+ is hard because you generally don't get the tempo. I also don't know if we want them to be able to res ice. I'd rather here just like get down, what's it called? Hermes and just say, do whatever you want to do. If they install advance, then we do sneak door pressure HQ to try and steal something, bounce the Bologna. Like that's the best line we have here. Like Hermes is so important for the deck. Kurapira is the way that we're going to deal with ping, which is a 3 of in the list. So unfortunately it's going to come down instead of the sure gamble. We definitely want a companion here. We want something to help us. So I think if we install the Kurapira, we show that we can deal with ping. It's still not easy to deal with ping. But we could probably do Kurapira. I don't know. Bravadoing is so hard. Like we could do Bravado server 2. I think that's actually kind of fair. We might as well get the Kurapira down first because we pay a credit to gain credit and we get a charge as much as the bypass doesn't matter. And we have a click left here. Like threatening remote servers is kind of fun, especially when there's nothing in it. Because now they have to res ice. Maybe the face check is still good enough, but resing a Funhouse here. Shit, never mind. That's a blowout. Oh, that's such a blowout. Man, this thing is so good. So I don't know if they can afford to trash these things, though. They probably trash the daily cast, let's be honest. En candidate? Not anymore. Bravado the remote isn't bad. Yeah, this is the worst case by a mile. If it was like a Serebna, it would be fine. But here we have to clear one tag. And we're going to lose our daily cast, so that was not good. It wasn't good. People are playing Starlit Knight. Again, they rezzed it for 3 credits. Rezzing this for 3 credits is messed up. I think Reality Plus is a bit absurd. Market forces. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Yeah, this is... Man, the tag matchup is like so brutal. Market forces for 3, gain 3, lose daily cast. So we lost 9 credits with that play. And we still have to clear the tag. Oh, that's not good. Oh, Backlund, you're gone. This is probably an issue too. I feel at this part we've maybe lost so much tempo. I don't want to say we're out of the game, but like we are in no way threatening to score out a Bologna in the next like 4 or 5 turns. Like we're just gonna get hard credit checked on Oppo. It's a size and it's so good unless you have a killer and then it's 5 credits for a weak sentry. I'd argue the fact that forcing them to install a sentry breaker into the Reality Plus matchup that's so, you know, econ faced is like really good. That's actually super, super important. Their economy isn't great too. Yeah, if we don't run, their economy isn't great. But they can score Bolognas on tempo. Like it's kind of wild. But like I don't know what we're doing here. Like we have to click for 3 credits for a couple turns, and then here if they seamless launch out a crypto crash, like I think we do scoop though. Like legitimately we scoop. Like installing Dawkins Pass to not get used this turn. Like here's where we'd want a Hermes, but if they crypto crash us out, at least if we install this, we don't have money to lose. But seamless crypto crash is over. Just a headline. Oh, just an AR. That's okay. We're not going to trash things anyways. We can't afford to. They can discard a card here if they want to. On 3 credits, they can still res ice. At least they played some tag punishment as much as the Spin Doctor is going to bring it back. There's always a cost of not threatening the Spin Doctor. Now it's really, really difficult because they're going to be playing assets. This looks like B1001. Running HQ, forcing them to res is okay. I just think just like playing control and getting the Hermes is a bit better. Obviously the inside job is good, but we just need to make sure we have enough money to be able to deal with like Bologna. Like this is the problem, is that, yeah, our multi-axe is not good. Doof, it's not great. They res a ping. They're on 3 credits. We have to break a clear tag. It's Doof is only really good if we can transition to do something with it. So could be Managarm. It could be a Maze. I want a Hermes. This is where like Doof gets interesting, because then if they have to res and do all that sort of stuff, they can fire another Starlit Knight. So I think Doof and Kira is maybe a bit better. They'll probably res, which means they'll probably be on 4 credits. If it's a VSA, they'll be on 4 credits, we get in. If it's a ping, they're on 4 credits, we get in. It can't be a fun house. I think we do Doof now. I don't think it's gonna be great for us, but we can do it. This also allows them to res their ice, which means that we can't like really do much with it. If we get down a arc, if we get down a, what's the one called? A Hermes? Is this 5 credits to res? Diversion of funds, yeah. Now we're gonna send it. I don't know what we can do with it. Like they can draw instead of credits and get YDL. Oh, that's true. If the tag fires, they can draw. Yeah, it's okay. It's like we can't do much about it. Like clearly they're you know, painful about this. If they go to 0 credits, we can also inside job the remote server, and assuming it's like an Amaze Amusements, or I don't know what else the upgrade would be, but all of them cost money. So Fun has a Starlet. I don't know if it is, because they're considering like maybe it's a Sarievna. She's 5'2", right? That's a ping. Okay, great. So now they're going to draw. Yeah, I think that's a nice way to duck it. So we might as well. So we broke a subroutine. So this is where we spent, right? So here you go. They rezzed. So they spent next to nothing. Our dupe was 2 clicks, 2 credits, and a tag, and we're going to see 2 cards from HQ instead. We need to steal like an AR enhance. This looks like a Rashida. This slows them down. Pivot. Okay, so obviously they're on tag punishment. We can't trash that because Oppo is online. Shipping from Lisabers. Okay, so they're obviously trying to tag us. We need 100% get down Hermes. All right, we're gonna clear the tag obviously this turn, but like, yeah, we don't have money either. It's not good. Yeah, we didn't draw lib, daily cast. Oh, we did draw daily cast. We definitely want a companion. So at least with Hermes, we open HQ, but we're not at the point that we can steal Bologna, and obviously they have Oppo if they have pivot. Yikes. Like, yeah, now we're not really playing. I don't like this. This feels bad. That's okay. Oof. Oof. Yeah, this might be a B1001 deck, but like trashing this is so difficult because it gives them money. So now they have infinite money. And that's obviously not easy. We can probably play around it to some extent. The thing about like Ombusson Inside Job is they're still like, you know, kind of incentivized to res this ice because it plays around Hermes, and because if it's a VSA, we get a tag. So even Inside Job for Sing 2 to get a bounce, and Server 2 seems like it's an agenda. It might be a Bologna. I don't know if they're waiting for wage workers to score out tomorrow's headline, but it's obviously super, super safe in there. Maybe they're waiting for us to be on 7 credits, so they do like seamless shipment and they score out a crypto crash. Like that also makes a fair bit of sense. But like this hand is so difficult to play. The one thing we could do is like drop the sneak door beta, but that's only worth doing if we have enough credits to threaten to steal Bologna, and even then is a bit dodgy. Paladin's really good though. Is Paladin better than Earthrise? I think it is. This is bad. Right, that's kind of crazy when you think about it. Where else has there been a single Corp Econ card that gets 12 credits? I know. It is absurd. It is really, really, really wild. This card is so defining in so many game states, especially because like trashing it now is... It feels slow, but like anytime that you play a deck that just wants money in it, like this is... They just got 13 credits off of a card. Like that's wild. All right, so I think we want to wait a bit. I think they probably have an agenda in hand. This deck is on, I think, around 10 or 11 agendas. They've gone through, they're only on 18 points actually, so it's like probably 10 agendas. I think they're on 44. Are you on 44 or 49? I don't want to do the math. But that means whether they're on 18 or 20 points. But still, like, dropping the sneak door and smashing HQ doesn't make a whole lot of sense when we can't deal with Bologna. As much as that's going to be an oppo. It's not a big deal. They can... All right, that's good. 49. Thank you. So we're just trying to like not play into seamless into crypto. Where are the economy cards? There's not too many in the deck. Paladin Daily Cast is a good start. We've played all the doofs as much as 2 of them are really good. We played Bravado. So we still have Sure Gambles. We don't have Buy Bands. We don't have Dirty Laundry. Cool, cool. All right, it looks like this is their list. Or his list, excuse me. Second Ice, playing slow. There goes the Rego. Phil, how's it going? What's Tuesday like? Another card on the table. Could be anything. We're not running. I'd actually imagine that to be a B1001. So here we can consider the Earthrise for 3 credits. We're just going to draw, find a hedge fund. Miss Bones is like probably not worth it because I think with AR, we just can't really make it worth our money. Maybe. But the longer they do this, the longer they flood up. And that's where we get Inside Job Sneak Door. The problem is like we still need money to deal with, what's it called? Bologna. We're almost there. If this draws into a Sure Gamble, we can do Sure Gamble, Sneak Door, Run HQ, die to Oppo. But at least it'll be like really cool. Ah, that tracks. That does track. They were doing that for a minute. They saw we weren't running. That was maybe worth running. You can trash 3 cards and turn them to Bones and clear only 1 tag. I just don't know if trashing things is that important. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. We weren't checking the table. I was a bit of spidey sense that that could easily been an agenda. I think we're okay with this. It still puts them on game point. But yeah, no, we definitely don't trash things. So if we install this, we go down to 4 credits. That's not enough. The Bravados are actually kind of hard to play. We can Bravado off the ping and C2 off of HQ. I think that's probably the play. Especially because we bounced 1. If we do that, we're not going to have enough money to steal Bologna. That's maybe fine. I don't think stealing Bologna here is really good. Def check Archive soon. They could feed us like an Oracle Think Tank, which is not super unlikely. I don't know if we want that, and it turns on Oppo. At least if we steal 1 agenda, like they're not on threat 3, so maybe it's an okay time. Shipment. Bologna. Yeah, we can't steal that, let alone we don't want to, but we know it's in hand. That's probably what was in server 2. We can go in again. I think it's fine. We see a single card here. It's like not the hardest to get value from this. We know there's nothing on the table that's going to ruin us. I think we can consider doing it. And even if they oppo us, it's still really good for them, actually. Barada off of ping charges Kurapira. Yeah, it's nice because it gives us more multi-axis as much as like, I don't expect to see any barrier in the list besides ping. Oppo. Okay, so they have an oppo in hand. They don't even have to pivot for it. So that Bologna is probably going to go back on top of the Maze Amusements where it is safer. They haven't really flooded up in a bit. We can run archives. If we steal an agenda, oh, it's fine. I don't know. Yeah, I think we do run archives. If it's a, what's it called, a Oracle, if there's two of them, it's a problem. On 49, I think they opt to run only one. Okay, Mavirus, they threw out the pivot. They threw out a Funhouse. They threw out their expensive ice. Oppo isn't too good now. I think they'd be happily oppo for, if we steal, they would oppo to give us 4 tags. Right? Because then we'd be on threat 3. Really been missing the deck dives. Oh, yeah, good game, man. We had such a good game. I was like really excited that we got that on camera. I saw your comment too. I'm like saying what the lines are while you're doing the lines, which is like always fun to line it up. And I think you played that really well. I like the good thing too. You're like, I've lost the game. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't think you did. And you're like, okay, maybe I did it. And then like you do run it back, which is sick. Congrats on the next list of the week, by the way. So market forces and mining goes back. So we can't really go tag me because then we can't steal Bolognas. Stealing non-Bologna safe. Yeah, if that was an Oracle think tank in archives, we'd probably want to steal it. Okay, now they drew 3 unknown cards. As much as the density got slightly better. So here we consider putting down Sneak Door and smashing HQ. Especially if they jam into the remote server. Daily Cast, Paladin, Earthrise. Turtle is reasonable, because then we don't have to do anything else. The Daily Cast I like. Actually, I don't even know if we want the Turtle in this matchup. Because we're going to need to install a terrible Kurapir Shibboleth at some point. We don't need the Earthrise, we have Paladin. Let's do that. C3. Twinning and Sneak Door Paladin? I'm not too excited to put down Twinning. I think we could, but I think Sync 3 here is good enough. Shipment, Bologna. We will steal that. Hermes, for this card, we can see it. Well. So at least it'll only be one turn where we can risk Oppo, and it will be definitely this turn. Actually, we're going to win. Do we just inside job R&D and see? It's only one card, right? Interesting. That made a turn. We played Control Criminal. So they have an Oppo in hand. That's going to be 5 credits. We could Sneak Door back. I don't think they have another agenda in there, but a single agenda wins the game. If they're on 9 points of Bologna and 3 points of AR enhanced security, that's only 12. And then with Oppo, with Tomorrow's Headline, they're in 14. So our options here. Yeah. Yeah, we did the ordering there correctly. Well, you have to Hermes immediately. So that's not even in order. I take 2 and clear the next 4 turn. Yeah, I think clearing 4 is fine. If they jam out, we're okay with it. If we clear, the thing is, like, I don't know if we can clear 4 next turn. We'll be on 6, 7, 8. Like, okay, if we want to clear 4, we have to click to 2 credits and throw out the daily casts. The other option is to install a daily cast here and then click. Yeah, that's also, it's actually, we're 1 credit short. I think we can float a tag. No, we'll be fine. We'll be fine, actually. Install a cast and take a credit. Yeah, it's fine. That's fine. I did my math wrong. I thought we'd be on 7 credits. But yeah, they oppo us here, right? Like, oh, economic warfare. We didn't see that in hand. I think with pivot, we probably should play around that. So they oppoed us. We have 4 tags. All right. Well, I guess we have to win now. Okay. So we have some plays here. Luckily, we have 4 credits. The daily cast was worth it. Okay, thinking. Also, I had a window there. Yeah, we could have boosted with Kurapira. They can't just play economic warfare, economic warfare. We should have reacted to it. If they're playing economic warfare, click 1. We could have played that. Yeah, I was able to duck the second economic. Did they play 1 economic or 2? Oh, never mind. I thought you double warfared. All good. Yeah, if they double warfare, because it says lose 4 if able, you can always duck down to 3 credits and you're totally safe. We were on 4. We might have wanted to duck 1, but I don't think we would have because we didn't see they had an economic warfare. If we were playing around economic warfare, we could have just boosted our Kurapira. No, it's all good. It played out the way it would have. Yeah, we should have been maybe on top of that. So if this is a Bologna, it's a problem. What we can do is we can just pinhole threading into server 2 and then see what it is. And then we can inside job server 2. They have to res the outermost ice. That might drop them low enough on credits. They threw out the pivot, which means don't have the market forces guaranteed. If this is the last Bologna, that's obviously an issue as well for both of us. We know they have a shipment from Vladislavsk, so we can only clear 3 tags. That's actually oh, we can't even clear 3 tags, right? Because we can do remove tag, remove 2 of credit, and then we're 1 short. So actually, like, boosting with the Kurapira there is incredibly important. So gotta think now. Immediately, if they score off with a shipment from Vladislavsk, like, they don't win the game. They're only going to be on at most. But they can do shipment, advance, advance. And if it's a Bologna, they don't win. Shipment would be 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they don't win. Okay, so we have a couple lines. We can inside job R&D and see 2 cards. We can sink door and see the whole hand, but I'm pretty sure we know the whole hand, right? Like, I think the hand is shipment from Vladislavsk, and the other 2 cards up at this point in the game we've forgotten. So we have to figure this one out. You have 2 turns? Yeah, we don't lose right away. We can definitely start clearing some tags. The other option again is pinhole threading, check what this is. And then if we inside job though, Starlit Knight has relevant text. So I think we just start clearing 3 and we discard Mystic Miami. We discard probably the Echelon. No, Echelon's fine. It comes in at 2 strength. That's exactly where you want it to be. So I think we clear 3 tags and see how it goes. And if things are really bad next turn, we just inside job R&D and C2 and hopefully win. Crediting is kind of bad because of market forces. Mystic Miami is not that much better. I wonder if they're on 2 pivot. They might be. This is their own deck. They might trash the daily cast. That's bad for us. So I'm going to get rid of the Mystic. I'm going to get rid of the Twinning. And we'll go from there. So here they can ship in from Vladislavsk. They can Retribution. Those are all not great. If they score out anything besides a Bologna, they'll be lower on credits this turn probably than anything else. So here we have shipment. If it's the crypto, it's the crypto. They actually might win this turn because they can pivot for... Oh, no, because we cleared the tags. But in theory, we have to play around like post-truth dividend. Oh, it's a Bologna? Or is it a big deal? Oh, it's a Bologna. That's the only one that's credit positive. Okay, at least we didn't contest the remote server. So we have to bounce something. If we bounce the HQ ice, it's not that much better than bouncing R&D ice because we can always sneak door. So I'll bounce the R&D so they can only repair 1 of the servers. We also now all the Bolognas are out, so a single access just wins the game no matter what the agenda is, which is a good spot to be with 2 servers open. We're okay. We might just clear the tags. We might just like send it R&D and then clear the tags. So here they kind of are telling us a fair bit about where the game is. Again, inside job R&D still gets in, and we see 2. Being able to access an R&D at 0 is nice. Yeah, exactly. The fact that we don't have to play around Bologna means that like we can just send it. Oh, I feel like I have deja vu. Maybe there's just so much Bologna out there. Yeah, they misplayed so badly here too late, but lesson learned for next game? No, not at all. Maybe we played this matchup before for Fixby. I feel like so deja vu when we played against Fixby. And like they scored out of Bologna at this point in the game. This must have happened on stream before. Yeah, of course. Well, that's why market forces is really rude. I mean, like, sure, wait. I mean, like, no worries for the thinking. You don't deja vu rotated. Hey Zed, how's it going? I think they wanted to redo the turn. Did they want to redo the turn? Was that what it meant? Because I'm not sure if that meant like they macro messed up or micro messed up. Yeah, yeah. Because if it's a micro mess up, like easy fix. I think it's hard for us. If we knew what's in there, it's obviously in our advantage too. Like maybe they would just want to double ice R&D and say it's safe there. Okay. So we're on 4 credits. I don't know if they have another shipment from Vladislavsk. If we clear the tags, they can get another ice there on R&D. Higher on the street? What do you mean, Phil? We can see the whole hand. It's not amazing, but we can do it. Or we can just like inside job R&D and C2. We might end up with more tags. We could consider clearing all the tags here. Let's draw once. Boomerang is definitely really good. Yeah, it's a good one. That's why we play 3 of them. Like, we just need to find it so soon. I think we might be able to do this. Inside job R&D for the win is like a bit risky. I think we can do it next turn. The problem here is if they put the thing in the remote server. And if they put the thing in the remote server, we just do boomerang inside job, and that also gets through it. In fact, we can just let this fire. Like, we can pinhole to see what it is, and then we can contest the remote server. So I'm okay with that. So I think it's okay. I think we could consider sending it, but I think we're in a reasonable enough board state that we don't have to. Okay, Mindscaping is really bad for us because they control the top of R&D. So now they know what the top of R&D is as much as like Mercury beats that. Icing up archives is really sick. Nothing in server 2. So we can consider checking this. I think it'd be so wild if this was an agenda that wasn't on the table, but I think we can consider checking it. We have to install something here. We know the top of R&D is safe. I think we need to check Spin Doctor, but they're going to let us trash it because it's 2 tags. So I'm just going to see what this is. I imagine it's a regolith. It's a regolith. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And before Behold, yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of slots, but Behold there would have been messed up. I think if they had Behold, they would keep it though. Games in R&D at this point, I think it is, but they know the top of R&D. We could just send it on 11 though. There's some really bad face checks, like Starlit Night is messed up. We need to install something here. Shibboleth is okay. It deals with BSA as much as there's 2 credits. We could not do Shibboleth. And we could just do Echelon for free credit to hedge fund next turn. I think that's also fine. We lose the audacity, but of course we do. Okay. Let's see. A big thing too in this matchup is like a lot of the ice doesn't end the run, so we can just take the tags to confirm Mercury. All right, I think we inside job here. We do sure gamble inside job R&D. I don't think we have to think that much about it. We see 2. They don't know these cards. They could always shuffle with Spin Doctor. VSA is the one bad one. If that's the case, having a breaker, yeah, they're shuffling down. Having an actual breaker so you can shoot. Oh, you actually can't choose to break it. Never mind. So let's see what they shuffle back in. I think the pivot seems nice. They probably have an oppo in hand. They have a lot of money. Economic warfare, okay. We have to be able to play around that to some extent. Having money works. And oppo, okay. No further action. Resin here means en passant, but that's really bad. See additional card here. There you go. Get out of our board. Good game. Hermes felt okay. Sorry, Mercury felt okay. Thanks for the game. What would you have done with the board state? With the Bologna? Shuffling oppo can't be correct? Yeah, I don't know. There's probably 2 more. I don't think they need a 3rd one. I think putting the pivot in is like kind of interesting. So then you can get like your shipment from Vladisibirsk. I think shipment from Vladisibirsk is also really important, but we don't know about their hand. That's for sure. Oh, they had self-growth in hand. I wonder what that changes. Maybe a bit because of Paladin. Ah, neat. Yeah. Yeah, that undoes the Hermes if they like bounce the Hermes with self-growth and go from there. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, that definitely would do something. Yeah, you see, like we play Control Criminal until the turn that we slam Centrals, and then we like steal Bologna, bounce Bologna, steal Bologna, and like that's really nice because then there was only literally for this whole game there was 1 turn we could be oppoed, and that has to do something with the fact that we just gave up on trashing stuff, and they capitalized on that. They scored a 2nd AR in hand security, but we literally only were oppoable for 1 damn turn, and obviously we got the oppo. I'm hoping you charge Andy have a Hydra waiting there. Hey, thanks, you too. Yeah, we definitely want to inside job through the Hydra. That's for sure. That was a massive ice. Hydra being rezzed in NBN Reality Plus for like 3 credits is kind of messed up. I can't believe more people don't play it. Because you res a Hydra for 10, it fires its subroutine to give you 5 back, and then the runner's tag so you get 2 back. You literally res a 7 strength sentry for 3 credits. As long as you have the money up front, which like, great. That is our best target possible for emergency shutdown. As much as like, again, res it again for 3 credits. I dare you. All right, let's do some news. I think Mercury seems okay. It seems okay. I don't know if it's better than anything else, but it seems okay, and that's actually kind of fun. As much as that list is not anywhere near, probably, you know, tuned. UK Nationals 2023 was just this weekend. Again, if you want to watch it, link will be in the YouTube below. I haven't caught it yet, but it's a 2-day event. The stream looks really good. Oh, Fixby, thanks for the game as well. It's up on Neo Red and Grid. This is Jono's channel, if I'm not mistaken. Look at all those tabs. Yeah, we got some news tabs open because we haven't done news in a while on the channel. And this seems fantastic. Great camera, lighting's good. I don't know if there's commentary. I know on Saturday when I tuned in for like 10 minutes, there wasn't commentary. That's something that you can always fix after the fact, which is really fun. But yeah, it's really good. There was 90 players there, which like shout out to the organizers. That's a huge event. And UK Nationals is always such a big event for Europe as a whole, let alone all the, there's still a bunch of people from the west side of the pond that went over there. Shout out to Rotom for winning again. Rotom, killer Netrunner player. And then a lot of the names here you also see we're in top 16 from Worlds. So like Extra C, Cable Carnage, who am I gonna not say that was in there? And then a fantastic placement and still a really diverse and interesting meta. I think we see everything in the top cut, Jinteki, Wayland, NBN, and a bit of HB, which like no different from Worlds as much as this top cut is different enough from Worlds, which is sick. And then we even see things like, you know, Ken at the top tables. We see like Jemison at the top tables. You do finally see some Freedom, which we did not really see at Worlds. Cable Carnage playing the Grug-brained kit, which is probably going to be the deck list of the week next week, is amazing. Shuffling up was a mistake. God tilted a bit by missing the line with the self-growth. Ah, beans. Okay. Fantastic. And we'll see what Rotom played. I'm pretty sure they're probably going to be like safe enough PD decks and Sable decks, just like we saw from the same testing group at Worlds. Cobra Bubbles, Bubble Boy. Yeah, that's sick. And again, I don't know what the Reality Plus decks are doing. Some of them are like on B1001 back again, which like that's yeah, this one's a B1001. This is kind of like the tempo list, like sort of like Canal like, where it's basically an HB tempo deck, but also we have B1001 and we have Anoetic Void. As much as I think I've seen more like Mana Garb in these lists, that's really cool too, because Reality Plus does draw cards. I think there's no way Reality Plus doesn't get banned at some point in the game. This is just like such a ridiculous ability that like you can do whatever you want with it and it feels really good. And it's so hard to pressure them down when all their ice like favorably trades into you. Wild. Excited to check it out. Again, you can check that out. Link will be in the description. That's really good. Plus can do so many different things. I know, it's just like a home to do anything. Like it's so reactive. Like it has that sort of sports metal reaction. It also solves the issue where like if the runner goes tag me, you still have relevant text, which was always a problem with other decks as much as the tag punishment's there. Like the fact that you can draw into your tag punishment. Everyone loves R+. I would say it's probably not the case. I think R+ to me is like, I don't like R+. It stresses me out playing against it. I don't play enough for R+ as it is. And the thing with R+ too, which is like kind of a bummer, is like if you ever do an R+ deck and like you're out there capturing footage for a deck dive, like you can't tell if sometimes the deck wins or someone just makes one single mistake and then like you just blow them out. Like we made a huge mistake in that matchup, which was like bravadoing what turned out to be a Starlit Knight, and that cost us basically 3 turns of tempo. Like it was so bad. And the fact that that blowout, which is already really strong, is attached to the fact that that ice was res for 3 credits, it's just like, you know, icing on top of that kick in the stomach, which is like really hard. And then you can't know if like the deck is working or people just make one mistake and it's over. It's like really problem. Excuse me, R+ never be banned, so I own the sickest alt art Yakuza. I am kicking myself for not picking up more Yakuzas. I know it is a really good one. There are 4 R+ in the top 5 of the UK Nats, right? I haven't checked the actual distribution. We should actually look at the numbers of like conversion rates and stuff like that. Maybe that's a job for a Jeff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 16 is like pretty sizable. You're very likely to run into R+. If we look at the breakdown too, right? Like NBN, Reality Plus alone is a quarter of the field at the event. So I don't know if that's an amazing conversion rate compared to like the 2 Jemisons that made top cut. Oh, half of them made top cut. But yeah, PD, R+, it's just literally system gateway popping off as much as like op is after there. Not a lot of Shaper too. Again, Hoshiko's still a huge amount of the field. Whether Hoshiko needs to be addressed after winning Worlds, I don't know. I enjoy Hoshiko a fair bit. And then top cut is again equally same percentage R+, if not more, right? Like it's doing really well. Hoshiko and R+ are still converting. In terms of the factions, it's Anarch and then so little Criminal, which is kind of wild. I don't know exactly why that is. I feel like Criminal would be pretty good into most of the decks you see here, barring probably Augustus on Ag Infusion. But Criminal into this field actually looks pretty reasonable. I don't know if the Criminal op matchup is that cursed. That had incredible conversion rate. I think a lot of the lat players too are players who like really know how to play lat. I also think like Shaper as a whole is in a really good spot the longer the meta goes, because Shaper being a toolbox deck, you know what sort of toolbox pieces you have to bring. And if you think the metal, like generally in a mature meta, I'm more excited to play like control lat than I would anywhere else. And I'm pretty sure that I saw some lat on stream when I tuned in, and like the lat decks are just like fundamentals lat decks, which like are good to play. Fun to watch. 2 Hermes and Lat, okay, that's kind of cool. 2 Hannah, that's like super meta cognizant. But like the idea that understanding where the influence slots in, because the whole rest of the Lat deck is like, it is the Lat deck, right? Like it's no surprises here. It's just how you use your influence. And like, that's why I like in a mature meta. And Hermes is really cool. That's actually a really cool console slot. I feel like console slot and Lat's like super not obvious what you want to do with it. Halodri, I was expecting for R plus to get banned, so I didn't buy the Yakuza altar. Then 5 people showed up to Worlds on it. Oh. R plus is also in Gateway, which means it's never going to leave the card pool on its own. Yes, I think Gateway is like a hard, like I'm not saying that R plus really needs to be bound out tomorrow, but I think Gateway inherently is a hard set to challenge. But like if you look at the PD decks that are doing well and you're doing at the R plus decks, it's like system Gateway power is behind most of them. I have an altered commission for Reality Plus waiting to be fulfilled, putting out altered playmats for each of the system Gateway Corp IDs for local tournament support. Oh, that's really cool. Also, David, what's the support like in Hawaii? Are there a lot of players out there? I've heard the UK players have always been into NBN. Yeah, that's also like a really cool thing as well, as understanding like the local region is obviously going to put their own stink on whatever the meta is. So to be like, oh, we know the UK, even just like one testing group being like, oh, they're all in NEH, that kind of doesn't help. Not yet. Okay, soon, David, soon. Kid is my favorite runner ID. I don't play enough Kid. Kid is really fun though. 6 total lad, 4 made the cut. Yeah, they knew what they were doing. I'm working at it. That's sick. Anyways, check that stuff out. I think that's really cool. Again, we talked about how this is just like, you know, a month after Worlds and things look, you know, somewhat different. Like you are seeing top, you know, decks appear that we didn't exactly see at Worlds. Put their own aroma. Yeah, they got their, I think stink is a good term. Other stuff, we mentioned this before at the top of the stream, Sovereign of Subways is this upcoming weekend. It looks like it'll probably be streamed on this channel. It's a huge team tournament. If you're looking for a player sign up, there is, I don't know if Kat added it, but there's a sheet. I know there's a couple players looking for a team. So even if you're like, I'd consider going, but I'm just a sole person and I don't have friends that would be a team tournament. There's a lot of people that are like signed up as I'm looking for a team, and you will find a team for sure. So this is going to be really cool. Italian Nats are coming well. Yes, I need to respond to Italian Nats people. Oh man, they reached out during Worlds to be like, hey, can you help with some commentary or something like that? And I haven't responded yet, and I feel really, really bad. So I need to respond after that. I like marked the message as read. But yeah, Italian Nats is next weekend if I'm not mistaken. El Presidente in Hawaii now? Yeah, Z, I've heard actually. It's weird how that's like something that came up in casual conversation. But yeah, that's how you doing, by the way? Yeah, there's now players in Hawaii for sure. Shaper needs Prof back to be good. Let's not go that far. Montreal, mind you, if you want to plan this, we have a whole bunch of circuit opener kits and like G&K kits that like we just want to use because it looks like the CBI is generally in January. So if you want to get a CO invite, you have to do it soon. So there's going to be an event here. This is a L'Abyss, which is, it's a nice place to play in Netrunner. This is Montreal. Should be there. It's on the 9th of December. If you want to get involved, if you want to come in, I got to share this a bit more with the New England folk, but this should be a fun event as well. So that'll be in a couple weeks. I also have some additional kits. I think I have a circuit opener kit. We might do one on the channel. We haven't done online play on the channel for a while, but like if the CBI is in January, we really want to get that invite out so we don't just like eat the invite. November 24th to 26th. Yes. So it's literally next weekend, isn't it? Because this weekend's the 18th. Yeah, that lines up. We found our third, but another team has the last minute slot. Come to SOS. Hell yeah, Dan. That CO's the day before ours in NH. Oh, really? Cool. I don't know. I don't think we knew that. I think the communication lines between New England and Montreal are like not good enough that sort of thing will happen, unfortunately. But that being said, like this date was kind of a result of being like, we have CO kits, we need to do something now. And we just picked a date that made a lot of sense quickly. Unrelated news, Dune Imperium is on early access on Steam today. I'm excited. Oh, cool. I still haven't played the original Dune. I just watched the Dune film because I've read enough of the book to like get past where the film goes. I found the film to be a bit sleepy, and it did not do the parts of the Dune book that I liked that well. What's the difference between G&K and CO? There isn't any. It's really weird. So like, there's something to be said about the organized play structure in currently in Netrunner being a bit confusing because there's a bunch of events and there's not enough like structure. And for players who play Netrunner for a really long time, there used to be like this tier list of competitive events. So this is like an old boomer Netrunner thing, and I'll show you how it worked. So organized play, FFG used to put out at stores, right? It's not something you could buy yourself. A store had to do it, and then you'd go there and play at a store. And the lowest casual event was a game night kit. And that was just basically like, again, the lowest casual organized play thing. It's called a game night kit. NSG still uses the term, but that's what it was in the FFG days. And it was the sort of thing that you could bring whatever casual jank you wanted to because there wasn't that much prize support. I don't even know if there was always play mats, and it was just like, come out, it's an organized thing. Then how it used to work in FFG, the next tier was a store championship that had a bit bigger prize support. Then we had regionals, then we had nationals, and then finally you had like worlds. Continentals didn't exist back then. And I think anytime that you won like a regional, you got to buy it in a nationals. And I think if you won a nationals, you got to buy at worlds. So there was like this clear structure where there was like different tiers of organized play, where like you knew if you're going to a GNK, it was like you can try a bit, but a lot of people were just playing jank because like inherently it was just kind of organized play. Now, NSG does it different, and this is the way I perceive it. They might perceive it differently, but they have GNK kits and they have circuit opener kits. The big difference is like if you win a circuit opener, you get an invite to the Circuit Breaker Invitational, which is an invite-only event that happens online, generally in January. I think we're going to wait for very soon. I think you'll hear the announcement of when the CBI is going to be. And that's really cool. There's not a lot of invitational tournaments NSG runs, so it's cool to be part of that one because it's super, super global. And then you see people who won events from all over the world. If you ask me right now, the caliber of try-heartedness you see locally, at least in my meta, for GNKs and COs is about the same. But COs to me kind of line up to where store championships used to be. And it might not be healthy to compare like how it used to be to how it is now, because it doesn't have to be. And for a majority of newer players, it's like it doesn't matter, like who cares. But like to me, a CO is like, it's still pretty casual organized play. Some places have a lot of them, but also the prize support of the invite, some people care about that a bit more. So it's still pretty casual, but not super casual. GNK is the most casual it can be, where it's basically like we have an excuse to have people come together so we can give out participation prizes. Prize kits are different, yes. The CO prize kit like has, you know, a playmat and stuff like that. The GNK prize kits generally don't have playmats. I think they're generally smaller prize kits, but I could be incorrect about that. But it's like, it doesn't really change that much. We lost regionals. Regionals have largely become nationals, especially now because we have multiple nationals in some of the larger countries. And then continentals is kind of like where nationals used to be, as much as they were mostly online. Like, it's strange. I feel like the terms for some of these stuff could be changed. And I know NSG currently is like working on that sort of stuff because they get a lot of feedback about it. We have actually talk about feedback. We'll transition to that pretty elegantly. But this is basically the organized play of almost the most casual level. I had a blast making the 5-hour drive to Montreal. Highly recommend. Yo, Dan, I didn't realize it was 5 hours. Yo, well done. 5.5 hour drive to Montreal. I could be convinced to go. It's like, so it'll be in December. It'll be maybe a bit cold. Montreal still, like, don't come up for the, what I'd recommend is if it's a 5.5 hour drive, don't come up for the CO. Come up for the CO and then make a weekend of it. Because Montreal is actually a really, really nice place, especially in the winter. It's very walkable, even in the cold, as long as you prepared for it. But Montreal is like definitely a destination. And then on top of that, you can play Netrunner. But we have a bunch of folks who often come in from like, you know, just south of the border, and we love to hang out with them. It's really nice to see people come in. Even people from Ottawa sometimes come in. That sort of stuff is really great. But yeah, traveling for Netrunner events is my favorite thing to do, and I can't recommend it enough. I'm going to be doing more of it in the near future, as much as we're not going to New York this weekend. I have the second half of the boosted kit, and the 10th was the only day the store had available. No worries at all. I'm sure we'll still have folks out. Yeah, for sure. I'm not worried that it's going to cannibalize each other. CO's fixed pricing, GNKs is just suggested. Oh, I didn't realize that, Jad. That is a difference, yeah. Playmats are COs and higher now, I think. Yeah, I think that's right. GNK kits are only cards. Yeah, they're more and more casual. If you want this cool banner playmat, it's a circuit opener. And that's also only if the person who buys the circuit opener kit buys the playmats. Because I think you can choose to get just the cards or get the cards and the playmat, and that's a bit more expensive. But if they have the attendance, they make the money back. UK is doing regionals next year. Cool. I do think you're also going to see a lot more grassroots tournaments over the next year around North America as well. So stay tuned to that. There's stuff happening. Montreal's my fave city I visited last year during my Worlds trip. Montreal is like, it's incredible. It's a really, really good city. I'm gonna go visit this summer. Hopefully I can swing by and bend. Yo, Phil, definitely let us know. Yeah, for sure. Trying to jam a CO before New Year for CBI fun times. Yeah, Monty, I think there's gonna be a lot of people panicking to do that last minute, which is great. Okay, I'm gonna transition that into this real quickly while we just blitz through the news. This is not in the order they show up here, but I definitely want to plug this. Jeff posted this, organized play season feedback. And this is super important for a couple things. Firstly, if you're watching the stream, there's two surveys here. One for Worlds. So if you went to Worlds, obviously do that survey. They're right in the middle of planning the next Worlds. So any information they can get now can make a better Worlds in the future. Please do that. It's hopefully you want to contribute to make something better and have your voice heard, of course. There's also the 2023 competitive season survey. And this is like if you went out to play organized play, but also very specifically, if you watch this channel and you do not go out to organized play for any reason, that's totally cool. I still think NSG would love to hear you to fill out this form, which doesn't take very long. And you can say basic things like, I would mostly rather play in person. I would do not care about this. What's the longest you've traveled? Would you be interested in travel? And this sort of stuff is super, super important. So link of this will definitely be in the description. But even if you're not a big OP person, if you could help fill this out so NSG can have an understanding of what it would take to help you get involved, because otherwise we're probably getting some sort of like survivor bias here, where the only people who are filling this out are the people who are already hardcore, and then, you know, things kind of continue to shift in a direction that might not serve you well. So again, you can find this on the NSG website. It'll be a link in the description, but please fill this out. NSG, everything NSG does is to make sure everyone has the best out of it. And if you don't let them know what that would be, they don't know how to get there. So sick. That's in the description. CO Kit always comes with playmats. You can either buy standard or boosted, having not quite double the prizes. Okay, good. That's good to know. Is this the Indie World Showcase? No, is that on right now? Kind of CBI hope can be late January. Give us more time for last COs. I'm pretty sure you'll have an update soon enough of when it is, but it's usually in January, in mid-January often. So I'm not too sure. The first ones have the mats split out, but not anymore. Okay, so they used to have that, but not anymore. Cool. Other news stuff. October production update. I haven't still read of this, but there's some nice numbers talking about how the progress of Liberation Cycle Set 2 is. So extra C, congrats on multiple top finishes this year, is going through it. They say what sort of numbers they're at, which is like really funny to try to figure out what that exactly means. And we've started a commissioning process for the first pieces of art. Set design is sitting at 95%, while development is sitting at 43%. That includes refinement and other sort of stuff. Cool. It's a short update. I don't know if we don't get any sort of like nice charts here, but I don't think they mentioned that they're off target just yet, which could happen. But yeah, started selling aspirationally in our first quarter 2024. So just as they said before, that's good. But I do appreciate these updates as much as there's not too much to clean out of them. Any news is good news in that way. This is huge. The AMTs have been sick. These are online tournaments on JNet that anyone can participate in. Certain time zones each month might work better or worse for you because they kind of do cycle. And a lot of times these were announced a bit late. This one, you have a bit more headroom. It is actually this Sunday at 10 a.m. UTC. I don't know what that is locally. I guess we can find out. 5 in the morning. Okay, well, good luck everyone out there. But these are sick. The participation on these have been like really overwhelming. I think NSG is probably pretty happy with how these are. What does circuit opener mean? It means nothing besides a name that tells you what it is. But inherently, there is a tournament that happens generally in January at the top of the year called the Circuit Breaker Invitational. And if you win a circuit opener, you get an invite to a Circuit Breaker Invitational. The name doesn't mean anything. It's just trying to make it so it's kind of like I don't know, in Magic, you have like pro quests. And I think in Flesh and Blood, you have pro quests. If you win that, you get an invite to the pro tour. That's kind of what it is, as much as it has just like, you know, Netrunner cyber terms. It doesn't mean anything. I hope the art could be changed to stand out more. Carrie, the art of what exactly? Okay, other stuff. 2024 Continentals and EMEA Continental Championship sponsorships. This is really cool. We saw that there was a Continental this year, the one that Whiteblade and Folks and Radiant and Cephalopod ran. I think that's everyone. Excuse me if it's not. Ran out in Washington this year. It was really cool. What that means, it's awesome. So they want to have one of the Continentals generally in person. Maybe they'll have more, but they sponsored the event, which means they tell very clearly if you want to run a massive event, what NSG can do for you. So that means they can help pay for venue costs. And that's a huge venue cost. They will just pay for that. They'll handle ticket sales. They'll handle a lot of stuff. They'll give you the prize support for free. Like, this is really, really sick because NSG, like, the community still runs the event, but NSG will help you get it done and make the financial burden not entirely on you. What is expected for you? Of course, you have to find the space, you have to make an inclusive event, and you have to do a relatively good job, which admittedly is a bit intimidating, but I've no doubt that you can do it. And we've seen a lot of people run fantastic events this year. How to apply all this sort of stuff. One thing really quickly too is that in the last couple months, NSG has put up a tournament organizer Discord channel. It's actually like pretty good. It's popping off. People are joining pretty consistently. There's good questions in there. People asking for help and suggestions. It's a really, really nice spot to be. So if you're like interested in running tournaments and you want a bit more support, I'll link the tournament organizer Discord in the links below, but it's a fantastic place to be. And seeing this sort of thing where like they can help meet halfway to make cool in-person events is fantastic, because a lot of the burdens are, you know, the fact that like fronting an event is incredibly expensive and maybe a bit of a financial risk. So this is awesome that they can help out. Cards look too similar to each other. I hope they make each piece of ours more unique. Like, Carrie, in general, or like there's specific cards that you because I do think there are specific cards that look too similar. I hope there's an official update on the price support for the 2023 Continentals. It's been a while. Oh yeah, I guess it's the same TPI hell. Yeah, I don't know too much about this, but there was some huge issues across the EU because the folks that they were using to print the cards had some issues, and currently the cards that were delivered from NSG to EU people are just bad. They are too thin. They just like the card stock is noticeably different. So even sleeved up, you can tell, and that's obviously a huge issue. NSG is obviously like really upset about it, and I don't want to highlight the bad stuff. I want to highlight the good stuff here because the good stuff is like buck wild. Basically, if you got something from NSG that you've ordered, NSG is going to ship you a full replacement of the contents of your order for free, and you have to do literally nothing. Like basically, they're going to say, you do nothing and we'll just send you updated cards. It'll show up to your door once we can get it out. They're going to go print back at, I think, MPC or whatever. Yeah, they say MPC. Only if you want to opt out do you have to do something. But literally, they're going to go out their way to be like, you don't have to process a refund. We know who you are. We're just going to send you new cards. Sorry, we messed up. Or the printers, they had issues, obviously, with them. We'll send you new stuff. I think that's sick. That's the easiest way to fix this, as much as that's an absurd amount of work for NSG and obviously costs a lot of money. But nonprofit, that's the sort of things you can do. I love it. If you want to get a refund instead, you can contact them. They have a form. And then there's some other caveats there. If you do not want a replacement, you can let them know and they won't replace them for you. Yeah, there's also like customer purchase sets. Like there's a lot to go on here, and the amount of Herculean effort to fix something that unfortunately is like something that it's like the printer, I don't know what happened exactly with the card stock. Our cards here in North America are fine, but like the fact that they're going to replace everything full of charge with no effect on you is kind of really good. So shout outs to that. I have not seen a replacement policy like that very easily. I've played some board games where like the card stock on expansions don't match, and yeah, they've said like, we will replace them free of charge, but contact us, fill out forms. Here they're just like, we got you, sorry about the bother. And yeah, that's at least cool. Oppo looks like balanced coverage to me. Carrie, I think that one is the biggest problem right now, maybe in standard. For what it's worth, Jeff and I, we did just record on the weekend. We did our like re-looking at our tier list video. That should be up hopefully next week, where we like go through our tier list 3 months later. And one of the things that we do talk about is how the art on the balanced coverage and Oppo honestly does look too similar. And that has come up in some deck write-ups why people don't want to play balanced coverage so they don't install an Oppo in accident. And I agree. I think that's a concern that we've seen before in a couple other cards. I think the big one that used to get me back in the day is the fact that I can't tell the difference in hand between seamless launch and what's it called? And Nico campaign. That makes more sense because they come from the same art. They're actually on the same page and they're just divided. But these two cards don't have really strong silhouettes because they're kind of cropped in from bigger art and they look very similar to me. I totally agree that I do not like the similarity between Oppo Research, which is, it's like the art style, again, doesn't have clear outlines. So it's hard to tell exactly it's there. You have that blue outline text on top of it, the same color scheme as you do for, what's the other one called? Balanced coverage. And I don't love that. It's hard to tell the difference from these from a distance. You have those blue lines, the same sort of like, the sort of like outlining on this card too, like has its own sort of deep dream-esque style that makes it seem similar to something else. And I think that's unfortunately that these two cards do look a bit too similar in my mind. I think it's only a matter of time that we're going to get like a sick Oppo Research alt art. Because like this card deserves, you know, the treatment to be like a very important card that gets prize support alt art. It's a very fundamental card to the game that people might want more slots of. But yeah, that is something that I'm interested to see how the balance team, or not the balance team, the art team addresses. Because I do agree. So every once in a while, there's a couple cards that like don't have strong silhouetting, don't have strong like you can't tell from a distance what it is compared to some other cards in the set. And I don't love that. I've heard that feedback before. I think it's totally cromulent feedback. Enga and Noom? One of them's blue, one of them's red though. This is Enga. It's the same artist, right? It's Bruno Belixa. This one to me, like I kind of get they're similar, but because of the very different colors, like I'm never going to get those mixed up. But yeah, the imagery is similar, but I think the imagery like pulls from the same part of lore that like the characters look kind of similar, and it is the same artist. But I don't find that to be too bad, but I can understand why somebody maybe gets tripped up by that. But like with the colors alone, I don't know. Like one arguably to me that falls into that camp is like Public Trail and the other one. Right, like people don't play Public Trail, and for me it's also the colors, but like these cards are very obviously similar because of the, you know, the narrative and then predicted planogram, which is meant to be a bit of a joke. But to me, the color on this one, especially because there's a red piece on it, that one also confuses me, but who knows. And also Wage Workers I don't mind too much, but Wage Workers also I don't think has the strongest outlining. We've talked about this before. It just have the strongest silhouetting. I could see how you could confuse this with a Nico campaign or a seamless launch as well. as much as the framing is relatively different. How did any of you have the wrong card print? I'm not sure. I think if you can bend the card and you notice the cardstock is fair bit thinner, that's the case. I'm pretty sure that some of the promos maybe from Worlds also fall into that camp, unfortunately. But I think that's the only way you can tell, is that it is just a thinner card. I don't think they would do that if it would put them in bad financial waters. Oh yeah, for sure. Well, actually maybe, I don't know. I feel like NSG would, you know, would still do it even if it was very, very difficult to do. And obviously it's very, very difficult to do. Definitely played a simulation reset thinking it was a Hansei review the other day. Yeah, but this one has a bird getting barbecued on it. It's kind of similar. Is it the same artist? Anthony Hutchings? David Lay. This one also has the big Urtica ciphers, the other part of this card art. Yeah, maybe. Maybe, I could see that. So many NBN cards with blue art depicting people in front of screens. Yeah, it's the sort of AR enhanced thing though, because like NBN inherently is all about like projecting on top of the real world. If you're not aware, Reality Plus is about like this sort of projection mapping on top of the moon to make it look like you live in a nice area, even though you live in the sad, gray, rectangular, fundamental, brutalist, but not nice moon. So it happens a lot. How's it going, by the way? How's it going, by the way, Link Ping? Have you ever played Fast Break NBN and there were two of the agendas which are almost identical, the new 2-1 and 3-1 that recurs a thing? Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, there's a couple like that, right? And like I think this one is probably the most jarring because they showed up in the same set next to each other. All right, just to keep going through some new stuff. I don't think there's that much else. Cool. New URL for Cobra tournament software. We've talked about this before. It's no longer Cobra the AI. I don't know if that link is still going to get you there, but now it's like tournaments.nullsignal games. Because it used to be Cobra AI and that doesn't work anymore. It's not that it went down. It's just the AI, like, what's it called? Domain is incredibly expensive. So they went somewhere else. And shout out to Spags and Jono, who were fundamental. And I think putting this together, if I'm not mistaken. I think Jono made Cobra, if I'm not mistaken. And Jono also ran the Twitch stream for UK Nats. Oh, okay. Last thing, we didn't talk about this a week ago. There's a lot of conversation about this, but at Dicebreaker, they put up an article talking with Richard Garfield, and he talked about like 5 games that he's making because currently he's working on that upcoming like LCG Star Wars thing from FFG. I forget the name. I haven't seen how it works yet. And he talked about Netrunner, and basically he said some pretty effusive stuff saying like, I'm actually super jazzed that like the community is continuing to keep Netrunner alive because Netrunner is really cool. And he even like suggests that like, oh, I would like to design some cards for modern Netrunner. Quote, citation needed. I know NSG has like responded to this like in a public enough space on like Facebook or something saying like, that's actually kind of cool. We'd be interested. So that's kind of cool. If you don't know who Richard Garfield is, he's the guy who not only invented Netrunner, invented Magic the Gathering and a lot of other card games. And he invented the original Netrunner in like the mid 90s that eventually was discontinued. And then Android Netrunner was the re-implementation of. So obviously like a really cool dude who does card game stuff, and super psyched that he's as psyched about Netrunner. What is this image from? This is from Rotterdam Worlds? This must be from the Rotterdam Worlds. I don't know where this image is from. Is there somewhere we could see those full art splits between cards? Yes, you can find them on David Lay's ArtStation. Is it not David Lay? Did I spell it wrong? I've seen them before. Yeah, it is David Lay. I think it just wants to autocorrect to David Lee. We'll find it. Never mind. I know I've seen them before. Does anybody know where it is? Maybe there'll be a link on his Instagram. But I've seen them before. This is probably any person with that name. I wish I had the link. I know I've seen them before. So if we do like, I'll do some sleuthing. Yeah, I've seen them before. ArtStation, Netrunner, Retribution, something like that. Search for Cyberpunk Girl. Come on, ArtStation. I've definitely seen them before, but yeah, they're somewhere. I can't find them immediately, unfortunately. But yeah, a whole bunch of them. Like Retribution is attached to, I think, Jailbreak's attached to Managarm Skunkworks. Retribution is attached to Send a Message. 2 of the HB cards are attached together. 2 of the Jinteki cards are attached together. Dockland's Past is attached to... What is Dockland's Past attached to? It's attached to something. I think it's attached to Strike? Wildcat Strike, maybe? Spin Doctor and Daily Business Show? Yeah. Docklands and Wildcat. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, there's a whole bunch. So basically they just commissioned one massive art and then we were able to use 2 of them. And the big arts actually showed like narratives, which is pretty cool. Wolfrat, speaking of OG Netrunner, my local group has a cube right now using some original cards. It was so cool to see them used. I had a blast in my first Netrunner draft. Can't wait to try again. Yeah, I've heard of drafts that use like original Netrunner cards and like kind of work them in, which is really, really cool. Glad you had a fun time. I have a whole bunch of ONR cards and I've played a couple ONR decks. I even have sealed ONR stuff that I found. I'm not even sure where, but like I've just like dual decks that are still sealed and I don't know what to do with them. All right, how are we doing on time? We have a bit more. I don't know. There's a risk that we'll just play more Mercury. Is there a deck list of the week? I don't want to like play the lad deck or sorry, the kit deck because I think it'll be the deck list next week. Do we just go back to playing some Mercury? Does anyone have any strong opinions? I'm also out of water. That's concerning. We might just play some more Mercury. Like we haven't really popped off in a meaningful way. And I think we can address the deck. Let's make some changes and go back to Mercury. Akiko, Mirror Morph. So Akiko isn't really like Akiko to me feels like Mercury, but even worse. Where it's like so much further behind Mercury because Mercury's ability is somewhat relevant and it's guaranteed, and you have 5/15 influence. Play some Eero Akiko. Oof. That's hard. Jemison, yeah, there is the Jemison deck, but that Jemison deck is just like traps. I don't love playing traps on JNet. It's not my favorite thing to do because who knows what people do. Build Spark Fem Mercury. Oh, I haven't tried that. I don't think we have enough time in the rest of the stream to build like such a fundamentally different deck. I've also heard the Spark Fem Mercury is like absolute feast or famine. I think we can just change some like cards in the Mercury deck and make something a bit more aggressive and feels okay. Because like, I don't know, the en passants felt okay, I guess, but and you can break code gates. You can't break code gates. You can bypass code gates. Yeah, so the big thing with this, right, let's say you get cards on the table. If they run at instant speed, right, like you can forfeit an agenda with quarantine system or res a corporate down, and then you can get advancement tokens on top of like a street blow overrider or an Erdka, and they die. So it's hard for them to run the right thing. If they run the wrong theme, we have Clearinghouse to kill them as well. So this is like a pretty legitimate trap deck. I'm also surprised we're not playing, what's it called? The one that does meat damage, CityWorks Project to some extent. Because CityWorks on the table is safe against Hermes and you can advance it. And if the runner runs it and instant speed, you can always drop more counters on it after they've committed to access. And that can also flatline them. Like, I think that's a pretty reasonable line in the deck. We have 3 Archer as well. Got to forfeit an agenda somehow. We have hostile takeovers as well. It's interesting. Akat's really good in the deck because you get the free advancements. We have Enigma Magnet because what other code gates do we want to play? Magnet's really good. And Basilisk is also like super, super, super cute. I wonder how much of the deck just like this you can play. Admittedly, the Jemison trick is super important. Whatever, we'll play it. I don't know. This is just putting traps on the table though and hoping they run the right thing and then forcing a situation where they don't run the right thing. I just feel like this sort of bluffing is like so much more interesting at like a huge high stakes event where you get to look your opponent in the eye. Like that's so cool. Blazing deck with archers in it. Yeah, Pat, 3 archers as well. Shout out to XC Game. IA Jemison, yeah. Cool. Here also you'd love to play Hermes. This is the sort of matchup where like triple X Hermes and like not so much what's it called? Criminal in the top cut is definitely good for you. Jemison Astronautics. This used to be my favorite ID. There was a long period of time where this was my favorite ID, even in the face of employee strike. Do you remember when you played my Jemison in like 2019? We spilled tokens all over the floor? No. What happened? Spilled tokens all over the floor? I don't know if I remember that. Any plan on doing more content geared towards beginners like a replay review? Yo, Kaus, how's it going? I definitely would like to. I think I definitely would like to. We've been largely doing standard deck dives, and I think standard is in a much more interesting place than startup. I don't have a lot of replays to work off of. And if you have replays, you can definitely send them to the channel. I think the last replay we received and we did on channel on the stream though, as much as it was like a Tucana ganked combo, which is kind of like the genesis of our latest deck dive, it's like hard to get the right replays that we want to get because we want to get replays in which it's not about like a flashy deck that has like a surprise. Oh, I got you out of nowhere that you can't play around properly. We want to get like, you know, newer players making unfortunately fundamental mistakes. And for a lot of people, sending in a replay like that seems really daunting because it sounds like you're gonna get roasted, but roasting is not the point at all. It's about like, you know, learning something from it. So it's definitely content I want to do because I do think there is an absolute dearth of, not an absolute dearth, but there definitely could be more content like that to help get people get more out of the game. All right, this is probably the kit deck. That's sick. I'm not sure how it wins as 3 echelon. I don't know what the multi-X is it? This hand is definitely a hand. False lead behind a single ice is like kind of interesting, as much as I don't think this is the hand. Hey. I have the same opinion on trap decks. I also don't like playing against decks where the dominant strategy is to do nothing. Yes, I don't like fast events waiting room decks for sure. This is at least we're going to be putting stuff on the table pretty consistently. So here we can do border control into false lead. False lead's super fascinating. Archer into Echelon is, or it's not Echelon, into Ngolo is like kind of interesting. We also can do install advanced events like Clearinghouse on the table. It's like, it's just how do we afford any of this? Because install advanced events is inherently incredibly expensive. I do not know what the multi-X is. I don't think we have the Ice Up Centrals pretty soon. We can do install advanced events, the false lead. We can also just push out a false lead and then we have a false lead, which is one of the most important cards because we can forfeit it to put more counters, on a Clearinghouse and they can die out of nowhere. Like that seems like such a powerful line that I'm going to go for the border control. If we res this, we generally will have enough money to score at the false lead, but then nothing for the next couple turns. Because this res is for 3 if the subroutine fires. Found the old link for David Lay's art station in GLC, but it looks like he took it down. Oh, bummer. Okay. Ooh, Spark for Turbine. Really cool. So Psych Mike, this is not the deck from if I'm not mistaken, from what's it called? This looks closer to the sort of deck that we might have seen before, which was a Spark of Inspiration twinning multi-axis deck. That basically, this is why like some people didn't want to play the Turbine, some people wanted to play the Turbine, because hitting the Turbine off the Spark of Inspiration is like nearly the worst thing. Because you definitely want an Ngolo here, as much as you don't need it for the access. Dirty Laundry, there's a lot of trashables in the deck, so you can't just rip through. Yeah, Mass Driver deck, it might be the Mass Driver deck. Or just, I think it was just on Ngolo. It might have had a Mass Driver. I don't know if it did, but this could be anything. We also saw like a fair bit of influence already. Mistbones is 2 influence. We saw Paladin, that's 3 influence. So that's a buy-a-ban. So we've seen more than half of Kit's influence on that single thing. There's a quarantine system, that's important. So next, all we have to do is we install advanced events, a Clearinghouse on the table. And then we can do 2 damage plus forfeiting that agenda is 3-4 damage. That's actually surprisingly mean. I'd send in my own replays, but just playing on Jaina is kind of daunting since I haven't learned how to really use it yet. If I ever do, I can send replays guaranteed to have many fundamental mistakes. Ooh, Conduit, they're just trying to race us. SDS at least, like the Turbine is favorable into that. Hostile off the top, we'd want that. Tuned in back, Jaina with so much text on the cards, new feature. Yeah, this is the plugin. You can get Cyber Feeder, which allows you some CSS modifications. Again, let me know if you like the text on the cards. It's nice to know that this is a border control if you just tuned in. So I see some value to it. It does clutter some stuff. The actual main menus look pretty rough, but there's also a chance, that the CSS modifications I'm doing on my side with Stylus are conflicting with the CSS modifications that this plugin is doing. I think it's Ngolo, Investigate. I think it might be that list. That's the list I'm thinking of course. Archer on R&D is like kind of cool, as much as it like is not good because of false lead. But we could do Archer on R&D, and then we could put like Clearinghouse in server 1. We have to click for a credit. Is that yellow text below warning on chat also part of it? Yeah, that's one of the options. And like the really cool thing about the plugin is that it has a whole lot of options that you can turn on and off. So I've picked the ones, this is my first time using it, so I haven't dug too deep into it, but I've picked some of the ones. The res animation is also really sick. All right. So we got to put this on R&D. We can click for credit. We can put something in a remote server. They trash this for 3 credits. They don't have a lot. And then we can also threaten a lethal here. But it's nice to know that's an Archer face down. With this plugin, are there fast ways to show the actual NSG card text instead of the image? I don't know. Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. And also, like, you can give feedback to the person who makes this and suggest that they don't have it. I have a really good feedback suggestion for the Arkham Cards app, and my friend is going to push it into, what's it called? Does anyone use the Arkham Cards app? Because I think there's a feature that should be in that there isn't, and I can't believe that there isn't. I played Arkham last night. I haven't played Arkham in a long time. I had a great time. We could do advance credit. Again, we're threatening 1 damage, 2, 3 damage. If they ever go to less than 3 cards in hand, and we should click for credits just to res this. Arkham Cards is great. What's the best feature? Arkham Cards is the best fan-made app I've ever seen. At the beginning of a setup, it shows you a bunch of the icons that you have to collect. And then it shows you above text to be like, grab, Ancient Evils, grab Crypt Chill, grab all this other stuff. And sometimes it's like 6 or 7 different things, right? However, it doesn't, I want it so then when I tap one of the icons, it either tells me the name of that set or it highlights it on the text above. Right? Because like, I don't like it when I see like 7 different icons. Whoa, wait, we just blow them out here. And then like, I don't know which icon's name is, and then I have to go up and be like, it's the 5th icon, so it's the 5th thing on the list, which is hard to do. Like, I wish that if I tapped the icon, it told me the name of what the set was, as opposed to trying to do the mapping. Want to see more Arkham content? Yeah, Adam, me too. I think that'll probably be on, what's it called? Next year when the new set comes out. Because there was no new content this year for Arkham at all, really. That's cheating. I think we just blow them out here. Oh, wait, Investigator is a breaker. Sorry. So they would have to break this. It comes in at 4 strength, so they have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the border controls on R&D. I think we just hope we don't lose here, but actually it's likely we lose here. They have 3 cards in hand. We'll just hold hope. Yeah, it's Investigator. I forgot this was an actual breaker. I thought this was just like a Cordyceps. But yeah, that's the big thing where you can just send it with Kit. As much as like, yep, there's other meta concerns here that are an issue. Hostile, okay, they steal 1 SDS, they win. Now we're in a really bad spot. Go get the X set in so many scenarios. Okay, sure, what is that set? Let me Google it, I guess. Yeah, the symbol to name correlation is my biggest pet peeve. It's hard. It's like we're playing Return to the Forgotten Age, which like Forgotten Age is the best Arkham campaign. And like, I don't know the names of the symbols. And I'm like trying to describe it to my friend and be like, it looks like a snake, but also like a statue of a snake, not like the other one that looks like a snake. But I wish I could just tap it and highlights it. That's fair, yeah. That's some bad luck. I don't think that's super bad luck. We have a lot of trashables. They could have scored on Oppo. We have a lot of agendas in the deck too. Like there's 5 1-pointers. Here if we res the Archer, we might have to. And then we have to res the border control. I think we just res Purge. Because the problem is like they have to break all of this. So they boost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it's on the remote server. Maybe that's where we want it. If we purge on our turn, they just go back. Like purging while R&D is open, it does slow down the conduit. So we could just purge. If they run back 4 times, they still see new cards. This is a really ugly spot to be in. It's just because we can't afford to res stuff. If we could res both ice, then we're in an okay spot, as much as they still get to do it once a turn. I think we're just have to hold on and just hope the deck holds. I don't know if we have a virus. I don't want to click away because we probably lose on this axis. No, my virus. Cool. Yeah, funny enough, when like we're doing traps and there's no like traps that fire from R&D, just oh wait, the thing is gone. I forgot about that. That's sick. So quarantine system, no. So we have an extract. That's something. So getting 2 ice on R&D is the only thing we can really do here. So we're gonna extract for 3 credits. If we install and then extract that, we basically spent 2 clicks for 6 credits. That's better. New remote. That's fine. Obviously that's not great, but we don't actually need the card on the table. And now we have 2 ice. And if they hit this and let it fire, we get the clearinghouse advancement. So now we can purge because they can't deal with 2 ice without another support piece. They just drew their, what's it called? We should purge next turn, but they just drew their thing, their breaker. Hey Tron, how's it going? I think Corporate Town is actually better than Quarantine System. That might be on us. Okay. And then we just advance this twice, and then the game is on them to not lose. But yeah, 1 get access, they win. We have 3 3-pointers in the list, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 3 SDS drone deployments. We have 11 agendas, right? And a lot of trashables. Like if they go in, like they trash most of this stuff for less than 2 credits. I think the most expensive card to trash in the deck is, well, the Corporate Town, but the Clearinghouse too. Biobands on Airblades, that's totally fine. We're not trying to hurt you. Water's warm. Oh wow, they actually can use Airblades to like deal with Erdica Cypher. Oh, we win the game. We have just, oh no, because they draw off the biobands. I'm glad I didn't hit that soon enough. If they ended with 2 cards after between click 2 and 4, because how much damage is this? This is 1, and then we add 2 plus the 3. So we can only kill them if they have 2 cards in hand between click 2 and 4. So 1 more advancement on here wouldn't have been lethal. Paladin coming down is nice. They hit the Erdica. You trash that for 2 probably. They don't have the most robust economy. Unfortunately, Airblades actually does deal with the clearinghouse relatively well. Funny thing is, if Kit runs into border control, we can always end the run. That's not amazing because then if he has a click back, he can just run back. Oh no, more cards in hand. You're not meant to do that. That's a good top deck. So now we can threaten 4 damage. It's a bit hard with the nuke on the table. This also could look like an agenda. In theory, if it scores out this. Why everybody can deal with Clearinghouse? It can't. It can deal with Urtica. And if you're not worried about massive Urtica, you can actually maybe consider running what they don't know is a Clearinghouse. Because this only does during a run, right? They still have to deal with Cerebral Overrider in theory. That's pretty legitimate. I do like that it shows you the names of the ice. That's actually really cool. I honestly wouldn't mind if that black bar stayed up there. It makes it more readable as much as... That's not too bad on its own. I'm out of water. That's honestly going to be the biggest issue here. Rigging up, that's going to be the what's it called? The Inversificator. I think R&D is all fresh here. Step away and come back to my favorite ID Jemison. I missed the deck construction. Which one is this? JM, this is on, this one was at UK Nats. This is XTCAM's Jemison. It's basically like a Mushin type deck. Hold on. They have 3 cards in hand. They have 1 click. They install a card, we win. Go ahead. Install a card. Because we can do 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. Oh, they don't even have to install a card. They just run HQ, we win. Because this is 2 damage, 3 damage, 4 damage. Spend a click, make my day. The only right play here is draw. If they do anything else but draw, okay, so they have lost the game. We just have to make sure that we have 0 credits. I think we can res whatever we want. That res animation is pretty fun. Cool thing here is we can actually, oh, we can't res the archer because we need to forfeit the false lead. They break all the subroutines so they can move it. So they have to hit an SDS here. Oh, remainder of the run. Yes, very, of course. Stealing SDS, I know, Bruno. How's it going? SDS is the only steal here that's really, really bad. Come on. Good game. That's it. 4 damage. A lot of runners aren't going to see that coming. I can see why this deck did well. This is where like having criminal aggression and having a Hermes down. Like having a Hermes means that you have to actually res the Clearinghouse. And there was not a lot of criminal at the event. Res. Mandatory draw, 4 meat damage. Good game. That was scary. They're 1 good axis away from winning the game. There are SDSs in there. And they just absolutely sent it early, which like against this deck, we don't have snare. We didn't have a lot of money early. Thanks to the game. Yeah, pop the false lead now. Yeah, for sure. We could have done it before they access. It doesn't really change much. So we're just going to pop it right away. Doctor first. Yeah, you always just need to have enough in hand between click 2 and 3. And it's if they respect that, right? Like if they just make that run on the next click, like they just nuke a then run, like we literally have to work so much harder that we have to triple advance this, and then they have to hope that is not the Urtica. Yeah. Hey, GG's. Missed the JNet revamp. This is not a JNet revamp again. Man, I just want to make sure I don't get the name wrong. This is Rahi made Cyberfeeder, which is this plugin. I think it's only Firefox, which is good because that's where we are, which allows you to very easily access and tinker with some of the CSS stuff. I've already tinkered with CSS going into this, and there's a chance that there's like some sort of negative feedback because the main menus look really bad. But there's a lot of ways here to make JNet look better for you and look better for streaming, which is pretty good. I'm actually really appreciating this. Any feedback when you're watching, let me know, because we can control most of these pretty granularly. It looks cool. It does look cool. I just think things like this looks bad. Like obviously something's wrong here. That might be an overlap on my CSS and Rahi's CSS plugin. But otherwise, yeah, it definitely makes things a lot easier to look at. Again, you can get that. I'll have the link in the description. I think it's just like Cyberfeeder, Netrunner, Firefox plugin. Thanks for the game. Yo, Gregor, good game. It's just this plugin, which is cool. Some things you can do too, which like I should show you what they look like so you can decide whether you like it better or not. But you can actually make cards look like only the art and you don't see the text box. I think that doesn't really help most players. I think I would actually totally be fine if every card was just a perfect box with just art, because you don't really need to see the card text on the JNet view as much as then it looks not much like Netrunner. I'll show you what it looks like. Super helpful for screen snipers. Yeah, it is really bad for screen snipers. I'm not really concerned about that. But yeah, technically, if you want to tune into the stream to see what the ice is, you can absolutely destroy us. Essa, interesting matchup. Essa will either have huge hand size or no hand size, and those two extremes are pretty difficult. But check this out. If we do... I don't think I like this. If we do this into Cyber Feeder, one of the options here is... Where is it? We'll find it. There's a lot of options here, which is pretty sick. Shrink runner card down to image. It doesn't allow you to do it on a corp card, but now the runner cards will just look like the art, which is okay. Hey, thanks, you too. That Jemison altar the PyCat XCam have is super awesome too. Oh, the one on the deck list? Yeah, I do like that. From PyCat, sacrifice audacity success. That is sick. Okay, so we want to ice up HQ. We have an early spin doctor, which is okay. We can put a quarantine system on the table. It might eat a thing, but we need a border control HQ so we don't get Chistushka. As much as spin doctor might save it, we could keep this hand for sure. We don't have a lot of economy in it. Cyber Feeder twinning could have been awesome. You don't even need that. You have way better cards than Cyber Feeder. Like you have Paladin, you have Mystic. Lucy and the Hash Tools and Development channel have been posting their work on an alternate web app-based Netrunner client, which is looking amazing. I saw you post a photo of like your playmats in that color, and it actually looks quite cool, but I didn't know what it was. HQ quarantine credit. So you'll see when the runner installs cards what they look like. I don't think it's my preferred version, but I could see people liking it. I don't think it's the best version for the stream. This is also a bit botched, but again, I think there might be an overlap. Cyber Feeder is great. Sorting the heap is great for modules. Wait, it sorts the heap? Wait, for real? I didn't know it does that. Droids, that's sick. HQ, Mr. Streamer? Oh my god. Oh no. Yeah, that was meant to go on HQ. We don't ice R&D. Click one. That is not optimal. Can't fix it. Throwing for content. This is what the card looks like, but yeah, to put that on HQ. That's fine. All right, it's okay. We can rip from hand. We're just gonna rip 4. It's fine. You said HQ installed. I know. I wasn't paying attention. I was worrying about chat and all this. No, not at all. Not at all. You did your turn. This is fine. No, we can't undo that. They played a whole turn. Cool. Ice R&D lose the game? Yeah, that's not great. It's not the worst because we have a spin doctor and we have a couple agendas in hand. So it's all good. Thank you though. The options on the third tab, I think. Okay, hold on. We were messing around with Cyber Feeder. On the third tab, Isla extra hand, complete player stats area. Like in here. Hand size reminder, that's cool. What's that? Let's try that. The fact that we sabotage from hand makes sense that they're going for a single here. I like this. If they hit the spin doctor, we lose the game. Cool. All right, hey, Magnet for HQ, sick. A cat on HQ is pretty cool. Magnet's actually really nice because it eats with a botulus, and we know we're not gonna get what's it called this turn. So we can put this on HQ. We can put this on server 2. We can. That's fine. I've often wondered if the crowdsourced chat assist is enough to offset the fact that you're talking while you play this brain burning game. The problem is like the chat is on a 6 to 7 second delay. So like this sort of nonsense, chat doesn't have my back. Sometimes like making me remember that Ikoa is a thing. Yeah, chat has my back. But no, this is really bad. Archer's nice to have. I think the economy in the deck, I don't feel like I fully understand how potent it is. So I'm just gonna put the money back. Some options require a restart of the browser. Oh, that's not surprising. Okay, so now Banhar, we have to put a second ice on HQ. That's fun because we sabotage ourselves. But we just like... There's a lot of pressure that's hard for us just to say we're going to care about the remote zipper like we did in the last game. As much as, you know, what's it called coming down was conduit coming down is pressure. Do you like this where it's just the card image? Like I feel like I would like this better if the card image was bigger to compensate for the fact that there's less fields for the actual text box. Right? Like it's mostly covered by the text anyway, so it's not like the art is better. Like it's not like the art gets more prominence. I really don't. Yeah, I don't think I like that, but I could see people who like that. Zoom in. That's the problem with zoom in. It breaks on the other axis sometimes, especially with Essa doing this. It's a finality. That's fine. We have a border control for that, I guess. I get rid of this. They want Oberth. All right, take 2 damage. The res animation is sick. That's for sure. We'll run like this. I go back to the way it was. Yeah, I'm gonna play with this for the whole game, but I do think we go back. Fire all, so we get 2 damage here. We hit a labor rights. And then we're just gonna not let that happen. I actually should have drawn here. I like having cards in hand. The Aket's pretty good if this face check fires. They could Banhar into it. I think if they steal this, they steal that. We just don't have money. I'm going to put this on R&D, click for credit. Like, clearly we have an econ issue. We cannot threaten any of this ice rest. Like, I do think they can just put... Okay, that's what the hand limit warning is. It tells us where the hand limit goes to, and it says, like, literally up to here. That's kind of sick. That's actually really funny. That's the way it's done. They threw out a legwork. Cool. Steel skin? Good. I like the text outside on top. Yeah, I like the text better if it was slightly above, but I think that's a lot more work than cover. I love the text and art. That's all we want. All right, this is a false lead. If we res the Aket, we're down on 1 credit. I don't think they're going to do much else. This costs 2 cards from the hand. Cool. We hit a Wildcat and a Lamb. We lose a false lead. Not good. Maybe we could have gone for the clearinghouse there. They probably have to trash it. But they only have 4 hand size. I think that's so cute where the hand limit is. Going HQ, it's fine. It's a single. Obviously, we can't res. They register. That's good to keep the aggression up. It's often the 1 card in hand is something. They should trash that. Yeah, just so sabotage is a bit worse for us. Speaking of sabotage is worse for us, we're doing nothing. I don't know whether we should just install it on the table and said whatever. You have to worry about if it's a clearinghouse or an Urtica and just say the game's all about there, because we probably don't have what it takes to ice up centrals in a way that makes sense. Like, we probably should have understood this is our strength, and currently we're trying to play what is not our strength, which is putting 3 ice on centrals. You can have... I don't understand how they use credits on the board state. I don't want them to have cards. Because, like, with Banhar, cards kind of matter a bit more. And, like, we saw 1 Lamb hit the bin, so, like, I don't know how they're going to use credits. They'll probably drop a Begamut at some point, which is an issue for Aket. Dirty Laundry Archives, it's fine. We need to do credit hedge fund. Ooh, that's bad. Yeah, this is not good. We need to get something like an Urtica on the table immediately. There's the Lamb. There's the Begamut. We have to sabotage 2. Whatever. We lost a hostile, so they're on game point because they went off an SDS. Yeah, I really don't like how we did not just push the game. They have 3 hand size, though. That's cool. We just lose in a single axis. SDS can be unstealable? Yeah, I know. It's only a matter of time. They went through half their deck. And now Begamut, right? Like, this is not taxing. I honestly don't know if this is the right jam. It gives us a bit of a read of what they do. Because if they run this, we know that they're, you know, they're running stuff. I think it's so, like, such a low cost to check this, especially if they have a raindrops. But at least a waste 1 there click. We haven't seen any ghost tongues. We haven't seen any marrows. Putting a marrow down definitely changes the game because we still have to score out some amount of agendas. I wonder if false lead on the table is not right. Like, we'd rather have 2 ice than our remote server. I think they played a finality. There's usually 2 in most decks. But yeah, we're playing from so far from behind. Is there a general strategy that works against Banhar aside from just use taller servers? I feel like I struggle so much against this deck and others like it. Taller servers definitely helps. It helps a heck of a lot. Ice placement's really important. Most of the Banhar decks are also not playing Hippo. So making sure you have something on the outermost that's like a relatively fine trade here. I think here we have to take the 50-50. I don't... Oh, we can res. We could have resed both of them. Actually, sorry. I forgot we had 8 credits on the table. This obviously makes it that we have an agenda in here, but like border control is one of the good things because it eats the Tsiakia. So if they want to break through a Lamb, it's actually really expensive. Play Klebetnik. It's funny that actually doesn't work, but you shouldn't do it. Yeah, it's like making sure you're double icing things that are important. Having multiple subroutines is obviously great. Fire all. Okay, they have a steel skin in hand. That's nice. That was better. And they lost a moshing. And now we have to res this. Play size Santana and Anansi. Yeah, it's not really for everyone. But now this is 3 credits. I thought it would be more. So 50-50 we lose. That's it. We did nothing. Good game. Yeah, those are sort of losses where like, I don't know if we have much to say. I think we did obviously mess up HQ really bad. Border control and centrals is obviously a huge start. But yeah, just absolute aggression all the time. I think if we got the border control in HQ, I don't think it changes too much of the game. Like, I think they still just stomp through us. I think we do have to push in the remote server and just say, like, the game's about the remote. I don't care about centrals. Is the remote Urca? I will never tell. For what it's worth, they do have to be scared by and they did see 1 clearinghouse, but we have 3. Thanks for the game. Don't need to yell. Sadaka maybe under the bus. Yeah, we saw under the bus. Sadaka is okay as well. Cheers. The red deck wins experience. It's like, so this deck is, I think Essa's in a really good spot against Wayland in general, and that's because Wayland is a bit combo heavy and isn't great at icing up centrals sooner than anything else. I think that sort of deck does struggle with like defensive upgrades. Like there's a lot you can do against it. Oppo is potentially an issue. Anything that makes checking archives a bit dangerous is also an issue. So like, I do think it runs through a heck of a lot of stuff. It kind of feels like Criminal, where like some of your matchups are really, really, really good. And obviously like Essa's in a good spot. Let's do one more. I think this might be the last one for today. But yeah, I think if we just ice up HQ and say like you can finality, we're going to install advanced events, something in a remote server, that might give us, you know, a chance. Because I don't think we can keep Begamot out. I think the deck has like 6 barriers. All of it get Begamoted for 1 credit. Yeah. The only ice that was like really good in the matchup is Archer, and we lost 2 on the first Justushka, unfortunately. Not that we scored an agenda, so what do we know? Scoring at a hostile early is also really good, because then you have a thing to forfeit and you have an Archer threat, which like the Archer threat into Begamot is still not that good. Well, no, sorry, into Lamb, it's like still pretty good, right? Because it's like 7 credits. That's good. Tags can be hard for Essa. You can run super rich to clear tags. Los, cool. 50 card Los too. All right. Hey. Thanks, you too. All right, so we're going to expect maybe a derez package. Our ice is pretty cheap, so we're not too worrisome about it, but derezing an Archer is obviously an issue. I think we only res it if we win. In terms of the ice, to make sure we don't get diversioned, we have 15 ice, so this hand's not good. The hostile is the only good part, so we're going to try and get an ice on HQ. A Ket is good enough. I'm not sure what console Los plays. Mind you, Los says the first time a turn an ice is res, gain 2 credits, so they're just going to be super, super aggro. Besides the Atlas, we don't really have to res HQ. They just send HQ, so that's fine. Jemison, Sort Evil, how's it going? Yeah, this is a Traps Jemison, which like I think that's mostly what Jemison does right now. I feel like Fast Events Jemison has just kind of like left. A lot of other Wayland decks can Fast Events pretty well. So our ice placement here is pretty important. Enigma's a nice face check. I think we probably should have drawn first. We don't have that much better ice to put on HQ here. We could do credit. If we put down a quarantine system, they can farm Amakua. That's not the big problem for this, but I want to keep 5 in hand because if they run HQ, we probably don't res. The whole game's in R&D, so I'm going to draw second click. Don't make fun of me. That was obviously wrong. And then we'll put this on R&D. We only res this if they put up a run that is worth resing. For a single, we'll let them go through. That's a single. Actually, no, it's kind of messed up because like if they get a bravado, they get 1 more credit. If they res, they lose a click, but get 2 more credits. We're down to 2. I think we'd let this go through. It's a magnet. That makes Los's ability relevant. Like, that's interesting. If it was most other criminals, we might consider res and cure. I think any ice in the deck is pretty weak to boomerang diversion regardless. But once we get 2 ice on HQ, we don't have to worry about boomerang doof. This allows us to top deck a hedge fund and play out of this. Early corroder, okay. So that's interesting. I have a plastic ID with this matchup. You're right. It is a Los Jemison acrylic ID on both sides. I have one of those as well. I used to be such a like Jemison fan. Unfortunately, they haven't printed a lot of cards that say forfeit an agenda on it, for better or for worse. All right. Well, a Ket for 2 is not great. They can let us have a credit and card. I don't know how to play this hand. I legitimately don't know what to do with this hand. The runner cards are still small, but you don't like it? We'll fix it on their turn. Thinking like this is where like I don't see what our forward tempo play is. I think putting a quarantine system in the remote server, if they trash it, that's fine. I'm worried about boomerang doof, so I do think we have to ice up HQ and just click for credits. Like this is not great. Cyberfeeder. I forgot where it was. Where was it? Yeah. Do we know where it is? Misc card label, run ID and heap label, run a card label, throw UI downsizing near the bottom. Oh yeah, thank you. Huge. All right. I think here we will res the Enigma because they get 2 credits, but they lose a click and a credit, and that's fine. That hopefully pays for the Los. Los is fired once. Yeah, if the text was off of the art, I think I'd be more interested in the other one. But also the fact that like the way that the bottom of the card is you actually can tell what kind of card it is, because like programs have different art borders than hardware, and so like there's some, you know, fuck. Oh shit. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. If we don't have money, we can't lose money. Looks like an NGO front, they might run it. Falsified? What? Come on. We're playing falsified Los into this deck? Are you serious? That's not good. They just snap exposed this card. All right, well, the game's over. That's fine. It's funny, like, we're just gonna lose straight out to Amina. Getting hard countered by Los. Yeah, that card has like no interaction with Los. Oh, we're so cooked. This is so cooked. This is actually way more interesting than what's it called, than the other deck that we played today. So like we can do credit extract. They assumed it was an NGO. Yeah, for sure. But then like I don't even think you do it, right? Like why would you expose an NGO? Do you really need the money? Maybe they did. Maybe they did, but like they're not. I think you wait, right? Like if it's an NGO, who cares? If it's an Urtica, who cares? If it's the one that kills you, like you don't have to do it now. So like I don't know. So I want to extract this. Obviously, then it opens up HQ and we can get diversioned. So I think we just trash this. In fact, we probably should trash this Enigma, but like they haven't produced excuse me, they don't have enough economy. They sort of just played Amina, they were broke, yeah. They might have overextended here. Does this deck even have NGO? It does. That's good. So like we can extract the Enigma. That's probably the best case. They go through this for 2 credits. We lose a credit. Like that's not a good spot to be. We just want to make sure we don't get duped. So like we probably should double Aket. Like there's a chance we even triple advance the Aket. But like again, we're trying to play Glacier when we shouldn't. It might be better just to extract this. Extract the Urtica, yeah, it's probably fine. It's just like, I don't know, like we probably like double advance the Atlas next turn. This also means that we don't have Tricholite, which like I don't know if they know the list or not. Tricholite's like kind of worth it, but I don't think they ever run the Urtica. They're in Saucy though, so I assume they're in Rubicon Switch, which like we just make sure that we don't play super too low to the ground, because then they can like derez punish us. Because like Saucy is technically a 3-credit econ card if you res derez. It's just we need to make sure they don't make money anyway, and that's probably through diversion. Scoring on a hostile would be huge too, because then like if we get an archer into this board state, okay, I guess we win. Yeah, click for 3, makes sense. Doof is going to change the game though pretty heavily. If we can triple advance Aket, that's absurdly expensive. So I don't think we do. Our magnet's a liability. It's literally a 4-credit swing. They pay 2, we pay 4. Putting the quarantine out is like, it's okay. There's no bank job. I don't think we get super punished. Oberth on HQ is like kind of interesting, just because it looks like a, you know, Chrysium. I think Chrysium's coming back in a way. That's bad. Okay, we should probably just push for the remote server. So this is unresable. I don't like how this is going at all. I think we're stuck in a corner. This is where we're not making plays. I don't like not making plays. Yeah, now we're gonna get diversion. Yeah, there you go. We have to still res this. Actually, it's really bad to res this. I'd be like, when we're 14 cards in. Okay, so the diversion is not bad, but when we're 13 cards in, I think the Axis is actually a bit better than the diversion. This will drop us down to 5 credits though, so like it's not bad, but like I'm actually more worried about the Axis here. So we res the Aket, otherwise they go through this forever, but that gives them 2 credits. It means that we won't get derezed for a minute though, because they can't Rubicon us here, and they can't E-shutdown. Yeah, this is messed up. We could consider triple advancing this. That means that they can let it fire. But yeah, no, this game's over. I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. They're probably playing more exposed cards. Like they have 50 cards. This costs 3 credits to fire. We can't triple advance because then we just get diversioned again. We could, I don't know what we do. Like we literally are cornered. Like I think I just don't want to concede on the last game of the stream. Like it feels really bad, but like we literally, I don't know how long it's going to take for us to make a play here. Like, we're not doing anything, so they don't have to do anything. Do y'all feel as bad as I do right now? Like, there's no game here. This, like, sort of distracts them. Concede and play another. The thing, too, is, like, the way that they're playing right now is also, like, they're not trying to close the game, so there's a chance that this will be an even longer game, right? Like, Earthrise, click 1, liberated. Like, here, they should just be sending it HQ. Right, but here they're playing to lose, which for us means the game is going to be even longer. Like, they're playing not to lose, they're playing smother Netrunner as opposed to, like, trying to win Netrunner. And, like, here we've gone through 35 cards. Sorry, we've gone through 15 cards. So you're assuming 3 agendas in HQ. The HQ run costs you... Admittedly, it's a bit expensive. We lose a credit, but, like, I think the access here is really good. Maybe they wait for a Docklands. Make them spend to trash, they won't. This doesn't do anything. We need a top deck hostile. That's not good. They might actually like forge activation orders. This forged activation orders is like probably playable in those. But folks are doing well. Lazy, how you doing? We're not doing good. Could be a long drag. Yeah, we'll play 2 more turns and see how it goes. The problem is, again, if we click for 3 credits, we just get diversion, and we have no like good way to play around that besides putting Oberth on HQ and hoping that they think it's a Chrysium, which, like, yeah, it's probably a line. And, like, they don't actually have to play to win. Like, I do think they can play control because Los, like, I guess the longer the game goes, the better it is. But it means that we're going to be in a long game. Wonder why they're doing this. Mutual, maybe? Having some beautiful weather this way. Game looks like a slog. Yeah, this is bad. Yeah, it's mutual. Carmen for 3. All right, what's Carmen cost to break Archer? The bad part of it is 6 credits. They have more than 6 credits. Hostile. Ugh. We actually could jam this on the table. This might be interesting. If they steal this, they might not have one of another of the breakers. We did trash a bunch of our ice. It's a no one home. Okay. They are teched out. This card's not as good as it used to be. Oh, Hermes. That's a problem. Ah, imagine they go HQ and they bounce. Okay, so it's an SDS. If they want to steal it, they have to steal it. Otherwise, we'll trash their thing. So it's like, do you want us to have 3 points? No. So let's see what they trash here. At least that's kind of interesting. They bounced the card with the Saucy on it. That's unfortunate. Oh, never mind. They trashed the Saucy. Oh, yeah, it's all right. All right. All right. Mind? Yeah, we got nothing. Good game. Thanks for the game. Yeah, we have nothing there. Yeah, I think, like, if we can't transition to the remote server, like, this is the same thing we saw with ESSA. Like, we just do not have a game about rezzing 2 ice on HQ soon enough, which, like, I don't know. That's hard. That's hard. I don't like ever playing a game where I don't feel like I'm in control of the narrative. Are they stream sniping? I doubt it. I think they're just playing a low stack that they like. We'll do one more. Down deep in the jank bucket. Yo, Shalata, how's it going? This deck actually came in a top 16 at UK Nats. It's all about, like, install advance in the remote server, and in the last 2 games we weren't allowed to do that. I think part of it was up to us. All right, Mercury. I think we ice HQ. We put an overrider on the table next turn. We have an extract for some money. We'll keep this. We're playing against Dan. Thanks. You too. Yeah, so it's, you know, it's traps. Oh, we have an NGO front. That's a good enough trap. We want to ice up HQ. RD is open. Mind you, 9 of our points are safe on turn 1 if they don't get down a program. How much ice is in the deck? It's like 15 ice. It's just like none of it's like a face check. It's all just to be like, this will be enough, because the deck is more about making the remote server relevant than making the ice relevant. The ice is just meant to be like some end the run. So, like, if it wasn't against criminal, we could do like false lead Enigma and then hope that we don't get like boomerang. But like with inside job, boomerang, and diversion being so prevalent, we need to ice up HQ first. I think the extract we might just play for 3 credits. I don't think there's a huge reason to play this for 6. We don't have anything we want to trash here unless they install an Amina, but I don't think so. So whatever. Next turn we can do install advance on any of these 4 cards and see how it goes. Yeah. I don't know. We didn't also read XC Cam's write-up, so there's a chance that there's a different way to play this. But there's only 11 points in the deck they can interact with. So I don't feel too bad about this. Nothing. No steal, no trash. Let's see how different Dan's Mercury deck is. Looks the same so far. Cool. A cat for RD is fine. We can do install advance on the Cerebral Overrider. We can do install advance on Clearinghouse. We can do install advanced events on the NGO front and see if he runs or not. 2 clearinghouses is interesting. This is the thing, is like, I don't know why I would do 2 install advanced advances, because there's no combination of things that hurts you. Because we could have just quad advanced the clearinghouse. Why would we put 2 things on the table? That's really interesting. We could see like Hermes run R&D. Let's try this. We maybe spent too long thinking about that. I don't know what that tells about our play. But yeah, if Dan runs this and it was an overwriter, we could pay 3 to do 2 core damage. That's obviously pretty important into a matchup with clearinghouse. So I wonder if we just want to test the water with the NGO front, because no matter what happens, we're happy. And it's also a nice way to duck diversion, because like boomerang diversion check false lead is important, because in theory we need 3 credits to fire this thing. And this is like technically one of the worst ones, as much as Urtica is 4 damage here. And if you lose breakers, that's sometimes an issue for criminal. This is where it gets tense. And this is where it's way more fun to play in person, where you have to do this and like just sit across from your opponent and like be like, what's your normal body language like? Am I being normal right now? Is this what normal looks like? What do I do with my hands? Oh, sick. Logic bomb. Shit. We could have got a overrider. Feels bad. IA is what XD Cam says is the key to winning. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we could have got a overrider there. Cool. Gonna C2. Not too bad. A cannon R&D is fine. A cannon on the remote server is also fine too, because you generally expend a card to get through it, which means that some of the damage tricks are a bit stronger. Unseen Spin Doctor. So the top of R&D is totally known. All right. Obviously an NGO front. Put on the Gremlin Grim for the whole game. I'm really bad at holding the Grin for the whole game. Let's see what they do here. Logic Bomb is good. It's 5 influence. It allows you to bypass. You have no clicks left, which like, that's fun. Here we can res the Enigma. If they Logic Bomb it, it's fine. We have a bit more money than it looks like. The res animation is really fun. Fire all, cool. That's their turn. Huh. We advance this for sure. I think we'll draw once. Okay, that's our next play. Credit, something like that. We're strong enough into the diversion here. We have some ice resed. It's hard to deal with an Enigma. Like, it's hard to bypass code gates. You have to like Logic Bomb inside job. There's no like breaker that does it. Only half read all your cards and your opponent can't guess anything because you don't know either. That's like how you play Skull. You just shuffle your 4 and you put one down. Who knows? Yeah, a cat will give us an advancement, which is in theory scary, right? Like, as much as we're not getting the value from NGO front, it means that there's a bigger chance that this is like a clearinghouse or something worrisome. That's a problem. We just got to make sure to res the NGO front. Now with Hermes, I think the deck is really difficult, because if they run R&D or HQ, we have to like res the thing or get bounced. Fire all. So our ice is resed at least. Pro Skull gameplay. It unfortunately works more than you think it does, as much as I don't think you should go random on things like side games. I don't think it helps you. So now they just have to keep 5 cards in hand. I don't want to continue to advance this for obvious reasons. But we just need a hostile, because then like Archer matters as much as Archer doesn't matter, and they have a Logic Bomb. JNet got updated with animations? No, this is entirely a plugin that you can find. It's called Cyberfeeder. That gives you some access to like CSS modifications, including the animations and these other card texts. Again, any feedback is good. It's the first time we've used it. No advance on the Yaket. This is more important, I think. I think this is going to get bypassed going forward, but you're right. We could have advanced it. That's fine. I don't think we're going to advance this twice more for that to matter. Like, I'm assuming this will get inside job, but we could advance this. This is more interesting because now they have to be a bit more scared. That being said, we don't have a play here. Icing up HQ is kind of fine because we were assuming there'd be a what's it called, a diversion here. It's not good. On 2 cards, we can't even res anything. This is probably a messed up play. We might have just wanted to go for the extract. We just want to get diversioned here as much as it's fine. Yeah, this changes how they play as much as the 3rd advancement doesn't matter. Because they know at any point in time we could do 3 meat damage to them. Which makes it tricky to Logic Bomb at certain times. Sneak door. Oh, shit. Now we have to pop this. Yeah, I think we're going to get eaten by Hermes. It's going to bounce the Archer too. Oh, man. This is so bad. It's so hard to like make the remote server play matter when like, you know, you're playing against criminals, you're playing against Essa, you're playing against Hermes. Like, I don't get it. Does extract work with the trash on NGO front? No, you have to trash the card. It's not, you can't do this while firing another card because you have to do the operation, finish the operation. So there's no way to like combine them in any sort of like meaningful way. If we get diversion, we're on exactly 3 credits, so their overrider might still fire. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in Netrunner that works like that, barring, I think, actually this really old card called Mark Yale, which said when you use an agenda counter, get something. So you actually could do something while doing something. Vibrato, and like if we get a bounce, we're just out. Like we just don't have a game here. And this sees 2 cards. Would this be better than Inside Job? It's the same. Inside Job works on our remote server. I don't want to res this because obviously that's useless. But the thing is, like, the more we advance this until it's at 5, they just like continue to run R&D. And then we still have to worry about, as much as Urtica doesn't care about diversion. They saw HQ too. Oh, sick. That helps. Big deal hypothetically counts. Does it? We hit a backstitching and an Earthrise. It's good to hit the Earthrise. I meant to do a smile, but that also works. All right. So their hand size, you notice how it's here? Yeah, you got to line that up. That's really cool. They know we have this. We have not drawn a hostile. At some point, they'll run out of ways to run R&D and see 2 cards. I think we want to extract here, and next turn we'll push out the overrider. I think a second ice on R&D is relevant. A second ice on HQ is relevant, but it's a bit difficult when we're playing into Hermes. I think R&D is clearly where the game is. If we get diversion, we'll just click for credits. We're not doing anything that quickly. You score and then do any scoring effects before big deal is done resolving and thus ending your turn. Is that how that works? I'm like totally not entirely sure about how big deal and clot and all this stuff works. Because you score at a weird point. I think you're right. I just can't confidently say more than that. All right, 3 hand size. That's just how triggered effects works, right? I also don't know the name between triggered. Oh, losing this cerebral overrider here would be pretty sad. Archer, corporate town. Oof. Okay. Let's go. You can fit in a bunch of actions during your big deal by big dealing an OZF and op. Oh, that's true. They go for a single here. Cost only 1 credit. Please, we need the overrider to survive, or we don't have a game. Okay, I'll fire them. It's fine. Oh, they didn't want to go through? It's a free access. I don't know why you don't go through there. It's literally a free access. You pay 1 from Shibboleth to get 1 from Bravado, and then you see another card. I think that's probably the line. Here we get diversioned, and then we don't get the cerebral overrider. So I'm just going to click 3. Just so that we get diversioned, we can still run the overrider. But unfortunately, if we do install advanced events, we haven't seen a single diversion yet. And then diversion means we're down on 0 credits and they can run that. Admittedly, that might be wrong because they have to respect Urtica. Urtica fires on 0. And they haven't seen Urtica yet. Actually, no, yeah, we probably could have jammed that turn. It's hard. Like, I don't know Dan well enough to know if he knows like the breakpoints on some of these things. Whether it's like, oh, it could be Urtica that is 4 damage on 0 versus not icing archives. It doesn't matter. If we have an agenda, it has to go on the table. Nice. Like the game is just not about HQ right now. At some point it will be, but like ideally we're just jamming every agenda we top deck. His money's not that good. That is true. If this is a false lead, it's a problem. He's seen 2 of them. Oh, never mind. There's no more false leads if he knows the deck list. We scored a hostile as soon as possible. Now he sees most of the hand. Archer, Enigma, Corporate Town. Cool. I wonder if you trash the Corporate Town just so you see more cards. It's very expensive. Check it. Come on. You know you want to. There could be an SDS. You're going to lose a breaker. That's not actually going to matter. But we just need to top deck a hostile. The problem is if we top deck a hostile, the overrider gets bounced. So maybe we did not think well enough ahead. And the problem too is that we top deck an agenda. Well, that's something. Okay, here I think we can consider icing archives. Crew Repair is not good because you can farm it. I think we can just do Enigma. It costs at least a credit. I don't want to draw. We'll do something like that. Again, this is so hard because if we get a hostile, we literally can't score the hostile out because it gets bounced. If we res it, like obviously the cat is out of a bag, and it's a very important bag to keep the cat in, as cruel as it is. Why doesn't it give us a hand limit? I don't know how big our hand is. Cappy, inside job. All right, you can derez a knockcat. That's totally fine. They see 2 cards here, and their Overrider will probably get bounced. There's still 18 points in the deck. They have to derez this. They can't even farm a Kurapira counter. So like, derezing the Capybara probably wasn't great here. Oh, it's optional. Okay. C2, probably get a bounce here. We lose the game. Yeah, game over. At least now we can score a hostile from the top. But like, what the heck are we meant to do? This Hermes, how do you install advance on the table? I think we give up. Wait, it's not necessarily give up. Like there's a small chance that we get an Urtica on the table and that holds off. But like they're just hammering. Are there any effects that reduce core hand size? Yes. Runner cards. Louis Guilherme, I think, might be in the format. Against Mulch, you would have been fine. I don't know. Against Mulch, we would have been fine. They just like smash centrals and then they can keep in hand. Like it's really hard to kill a Mulch because they can always just feed a Steelskin Scarring to Clearinghouse after we res the Clearinghouse. It's actually really difficult. We have to advance the Clearinghouse to massive levels. That being said, obviously this deck did well, but I feel like we've got 3 really bad matchups and we played one of them very poorly. I'd argue we played 2 of them pretty poorly. But like, what do we do here? Like we're back to icing centrals, which again, like against Hermes seems like the only possible play. Mulch runs more remotes and doesn't bounce cards back to HQ. Well, the Hermes is the biggest thing. Like that's the huge issue here. But Mulch still is very, very hard to kill. If they keep Steelskins in hand, it's almost impossible to kill them. Oof. Credit? It's not right. We could draw and fix our hand a bit. Obviously last click, that's a bit cursed, but whatever. Yeah, it's really, really hard to kill Mulch. Especially with, well, it's like hard to kill Mulch when you have to res the trap and then they can respond to it. Every matchup is a bad matchup for this deck. No, I don't think so. Like the Shaper deck was a fine matchup because we really didn't have to ice centrals and we didn't expect Conduit coming down turn 1. And like, they're not playing Telework. They're not playing Hermes or sorry, Stone Chip Chart Room. Like that's okay. Two cards in hand. Also, like, I'm surprised to some extent that this deck, and I think it's because of the agenda suite, but like, if the Atlases were Aziefs, and then we have Audacity, we actually have a line where like Clearinghouse weakens them, and then we kill them with Azief as Audacity. I wonder what the consideration to not play that was. It's probably like a slots thing. But we've also not scored a hostile in any of the games, and hostile like is a huge enabler to make our ice scary, to make our like instant speed stuff scary as well. Because like in theory, if they run Archer 2 last click, we like res the Archer, we put 2 counters on this, and then they have a problem suddenly they might not be prepared for. So there's a couple issues going against us for sure. Yeah, I think I would really appreciate SZF in here. Diversion, that's fine. That actually doesn't do anything. Going from 14 to 9 has no impact on the game. The access is more important to them than this diversion. Maybe they need the money more than we do. Like, because they paid 3 and 2 clicks to gain 5. Right? Like, the math on diversion in a lot of board states just doesn't make sense. Like, us going from 14 to 9 does not change the narrative of this remote survey. All right. Triple events to CO, make them think it's a clearinghouse. It's the only option we have. But then I think they just ignore it and, like, run HQ and try and get something. Maybe I can't talk too much shit about the diversion because the next card that's going to come down is also a diversion, and that's a problem. I don't think we can res a border control to duck a diversion because then we just basically lost a diversion like we paid for that privilege. So like we do this. If they divert us, we're down at 2, which means they have to still respect Urtica, but they don't have to respect Overrider. And Urtica is actually really good when they're on 3 hand size. Yeah, this is a problem. At least they can't bounce 2 of these. IA Clearinghouse, yeah, I like that a lot. Do you want to derez the Enigma? It actually might matter. Our money's not that great that they're not doing it. I think they want to keep it for the archery. So they're gonna see 3 cards here. Okay, nice. Board control, nice. Atlas, damn it. A credit, the overrated was best. Toss the Atlas in the bin. Yeah, but they run HQ and they bounce it. Like, we can't put 4 advancements on a single card. I think the only way to beat it at Hermes is to put a bunch of advancements on a bunch of different cards. Right? Because if we put 4, we just lost 2 turns and they return it to hand off the very, like, predictable run HQ. Like, even if they did an inside job, seeing 2 cards there is usually enough. I think if they had more money, they should consider trashing the corporate town. HQ would have been clear, so they would have had to get into R&D and maybe do it. Oh, wait, install advance the Atlas? Silly splash mitosis in the deck. Mitosis is a lot of influence. But yeah, we love mitosis to put more things on the table. Now we get diversion that we can't fire in clearinghouse. We can still fire Urtica, but like, yeah, at least this is like forces, you know, them to respond to us. And at game point 2, like, you know, they can send it R&D with an inside job, and Estebrado's online now, and they have Logic Bomb, and seeing 2 off of R&D, it's probably going to be the game. I've been trying 2 mitosis and Asa. It's not good. It's kind of silly. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so this is probably game. Being on game point 2 without an SDS being scored is also like, you know, it now is blank text, and that's never good for you. They have 3 cards in hand. We could always consider rezzing this. They just run it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, good game. Yeah, that's not good. I don't know how to get out of that. There's too many things for us to respect, and then just, yeah, I don't know if you have a win rate into that. I'd have to read the XCKMs right up. There wasn't that many decks like this, I don't think, like at UK Nats, right? Like if we look at the distribution of IDs, like what's the worst case? Like ESA, there's only 1 ESA deck. Oh, that's Top Cut, right? Yeah. Oh, ESA was actually pretty prominent at 12, so that's a problem. But then Criminal, like there was not a lot of Criminal. 16 Sable, and then some Ken, some Zaya. So I don't know if you're worried about the Central Smash too much. Yeah, Hermes. Yeah, Hermes is messed up. I don't know. All right, good games. It's a bummer to end on, but like I don't know what to do there. We had 1 good game at the beginning, which I think that's the matchup you definitely want to be able to beat, and then the other ones are a bit harder. That's for sure. But yeah, it's cool. I definitely can build some weird forks. I don't know if we just drew really poorly. I think a hostile early is really good because that turns on a lot of our tricks. And then they have to really respect us. Like scoring a hostile means that they have to deal with all of the corporate towns on the table. They have to deal with the Oberths. They have to deal with the quarantine system, because at instant speed, we can put counters on top of a card. The fact that we went 2 games without scoring out a single agenda means like we just don't have text. And that's obviously a bad spot to be in. Thanks for the game. Sorry for the rough one. Oh, it's okay, Dan. Good game. Do we know what was the special art commission for the UK Nats? I didn't know there was one. You think there was? I reckoned it would have been here. That's a good question, Jet. Hard mode for hostile? Yeah, we did mull in most games. I think we had an opening hand that was hostile, but then 5 other points and we put it back. Yeah, I'm not sure what the altered was. It doesn't say anywhere. Maybe someone can let us know in the comments. Yeah. Anywho, thanks so much for watching. We'll be back on Thursday. We have a video that just went up yesterday. I liked how it turned out a heck of a lot. We're going to have another video up next week. This weekend, there's also going to be more content on the channel with the Sovereign of Subways. So that will be this weekend. Check that out. That should be here, I'm pretty sure. I'll let you know more on Thursday. That's largely it. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you had a good time. If you're watching the VOD, hopefully you're doing well. Thanks to all the folks we played games against today. And we'll be back in a couple days. We've been streaming, 3.5 hours. That's not too bad. I got some degree meals tonight, and otherwise, gotta go get some food. Take care, y'all. See you in a bit. Ciao.